Over $20 million was left for the next mayor to deal with. Begich left Anchorage in serious trouble. Alaska's Energy America's Values paid for and is responsible for the content of this advertising. It's time to replace Malarkey Mark with U.S. Senator Dan Sullivan. Not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. EnergyandValues.com.
Are you ready? Dan Fagan and Glenn Biegel are here. They're gonna tear it up, rip it down, and shoot it straight. Fagan and Biegel in the morning on Hot Talk, KOAN. Now, Fagan and Biegel.
Well, looky. Here's Friday. How about that? 5th day of the month of September. The good news is Friday. The bad news is winter. Winter is upon us.
Winter? Man.
You don't. Actually, it's funny. My friend Greg Lido, who's a photographer at Channel 2, when I taught a class out at UAA, I'd bring in people who work in the media to bring their stories in and talk about how they made them. He did a story once. It was one of the best news stories I've ever seen. It was what they call a video essay, where there's no reporter. And you just basically take the camera and you shoot people and you edit it together. And you let the people tell the story.
Uh-huh.
It's a very difficult thing to do, and you have to have a lot of talent to do it. And very few can pull it off. Greg Lido is one of them that can. And I'm telling you, it's probably one of the best stories I've ever seen. And he did it on people who cross-country ski.
I used to do that when I was
Really?
very young.
Well, basically, the people that he profiled, it's their life. They wouldn't dream of leaving Alaska in the winter. They only leave in the summer. They would never go on vacation. Mid-October, late October through April. And it gave me a perspective on, because I hate the winter.
Yeah.
Right? And I would assume most Alaskans are not fond of 10 below, snow, darkness, right? Or even 10 above.
I don't know. I grew up with it, so it's
It
doesn't bother me.
So that's the difference. Some people, it just doesn't affect them. Some people love it, and then there's me, who absolutely loathes it.
I don't have the energy to hate winter.
Oh, I got plenty of
I
energy.
am here,
I love
and
to hate
therefore it's fine. I mean, if the worst it will do is I'll say, all right, here we go again.
Yeah.
Let's match wits, you and I, Mr. Winter.
Well, the thing for me is there's two aspects to winter. One, it robs me of my passion in life, which is golf.
Mm-hmm.
That's a really big deal to me. And plus, I'm such a stubborn fool. I will not wear a coat, which exasperates the suffering that winter brings considerably.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You
so
do realize
stubborn.
that there is a choice in there somewhere.
Stubborn.
How do you balance, though, your passion for golf and your passion for football, which comes with winter?
I wouldn't survive the winters without football. The problem is, fourth week in January, football's gone.
Mm-hmm.
Football
Isn't it the
leaves
second
me.
week in February now?
Well, okay, the Super Bowl I suppose is like the first week in February.
All right.
But my mistress football,
yes,
which gets me through the weekends, it abandons me in the darkest, coldest time of the year, leaving me literally the first Sunday I wake up with no football. I'm sitting there, and I literally have nothing.
You don't switch over to basketball and like watch March Madness?
No,
and
I'm
all
not.
that stuff?
March Madness is okay because we have a bracket. We do all that, but it's nothing compared to football. So I'm literally left a widow first week in February with 3 to 4 to 5 months of winter left.
Yeah, February's the worst. You always get really down in February because you know that you've got.
Did you say 5 months of winter left after February?
Well, you got February, March, April, May, and then June it starts to warm up. So 4 months.
You got February, March, end of March.
Usually the
I
third.
am totally into summer.
Usually the 3rd to 4th week of June it starts to warm up.
Yeah.
Maybe July.
I don't know. After I left Alaska and came back, I was very more down about winter than before, because growing up here, it's just part of your life.
Just what
the
is.
Darkness never got to me. Nothing like that.
So it got to you. You realize that there is
when I went out and came back,
that
yes,
life is much better elsewhere weather-wise.
Yes.
Look, there's so many things about Alaska that I didn't realize are amazing until I left for a year.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm now realizing what an amazing, incredible place this is. Winter not being one of them.
I don't know. I still didn't get enough of that, being in the lower 48. So I would go back if I could.
If you could.
But
are you
we're here.
confined? Are you under some kind of house arrest? Or just some kind of criminal activity that has prohibited you from crossing the state line?
About that.
No.
If I could, what does that
The
mean?
homeschooling laws are the best up here.
Are they?
So
Oh, yeah.
I'll stay for that. And you, I guess.
Yeah, of course. 569-1080. What is that? Oh, that's your hideous grapes.
My grapes.
Your grapes are bigger in your picture than you are. I'm telling you, I just had the worst food morsel. It was literally the nastiest thing. Let me see that. This is
For those of you watching online.
I was watching on that grape right there. That is disgusting.
It's got to be a GMO grape.
As anything I've ever put in my mouth. It was completely tasteless, no sweetness to it, and it's all texture. It's like eating bark.
It's better than yogurt.
It is better for you than in yogurt.
It's
Well,
huge. I mean, it's
big
like
grape.
6 times the size of a normal grape.
Yeah, it scares me a little, frankly.
It's probably
I
got
think it was grown in a test
lots
tube.
of chemicals in it.
Yeah, they know how to modify food these days.
Breakfast.
I'm having so much fun on the ADN blog. It's just so much. I don't know why my new hobby is to infuriate people. And I know that's not good. I know that's not a good sign of maturity or anything.
I like it. I think that's good.
But the left, they're just so angry and mad, and I just love poking them, just prodding them a little bit.
And they just come back with the stupidest things.
Oh.
They don't have anything to come back
Well,
with.
Disa Jacobson.
Oh,
who-
man.
She's a nasty.
I would
she's
not
mean.
tangle with her anymore because she just is so vicious.
Rabid.
Horrible.
Well, there's a lot of pain.
Oh, okay.
There's a lot of pain. There's a lot of hurt there. So
Yeah.
I don't look at it that way. Frankly, I walked around for years with this huge gaping wound that you couldn't see, but it was there emotionally.
Mm-hmm.
And it brought some of the nastiest stuff out of my mouth. So I as someone who spent a good deal of his life in intense, excruciating, emotional pain, I understand when people are so vicious with their words, where that comes from. It's they have not gotten that pain healed. And so I don't judge them as much. I understand that it's going to get pretty rough when people are operating out of their pain, and they're going to go as low as they can go to hurt you, because they want you to hurt like you're hurting. But I don't judge. I totally understand. I totally understand where the pain comes from.
All right.
Do you read the replies?
Oh yeah. Well, I'll read you. Actually, Glenn, you had something on there today that was really good. Dermot Cole's column.
Yeah, I was very fascinated. I'm into this asking questions more, and this is something you're so good at, Dan.
Mhm.
And it actually is fun. There are a number of people who I've worked with in the state. I was a big part of Sarah Palin's campaign. I ran her war room.
So you're the one.
And so a lot of these people who are on the Walker bandwagon, they're friends of mine, from long ago. And you asked me a question, and you keep asking it of me. I suppose I need to stop talking
Well,
here.
go ahead.
I can't see, but what problem do you have with Parnell? And I love that question.
Hold that thought.
Yeah.
614, Fagan, Biegel, and Bonnie, 569-1080. Hold that thought.
Yeah.
614, Fagan, Biegel, and Bonnie, 569-1080.
Fagan and Biegel on Hot Talk KOAN and online at 1080KOAN.com.
As an employer, you know valuable employees help grow your business. That's why you should plan to attend the annual job fair on September 10th, brought to you by Alaska Integrated Media and Alaska Dispatch News. We'll be at the Egan Center from 10:30 a.m. until 5 p.m. If you want the chance to reach today's workforce, grab a booth. There are still spots available. Just send an email to jobfair@adn.com to register or for more information. Plan to come to the Egan on September 10th and find the next star of your team.
I'm Leslie Moore. I teach 7th grade here in Anchorage. I'm tired of the DC outsiders coming to Alaska to falsely attack Dan Sullivan. Don't believe their dishonest ads. The truth is, Dan Sullivan has stood up for Alaskans and delivered results. I've seen it firsthand. After the financial crisis, my pension took a big hit. It was a difficult time for all Alaska teachers, but Attorney General Dan Sullivan fought back, forcing a Wall Street firm to pay for their malpractice, putting almost $500 million back into the retirement fund for Alaskans.
Dan Sullivan stood up to Wall Street and Washington as our Attorney General and DNR Commissioner, fighting for Alaska.
Dan Sullivan stood up for me and every Alaskan teacher. He's a man of the highest integrity, and he will fight for Alaskans, not for the big money special interests. This is a critical time for our nation and state. We need more people like Dan Sullivan fighting for us in the U.S. Senate.
I'm Dan Sullivan, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Sullivan for U.S. Senate.
Is it already time for your kindergartner to start learning reading, writing, and arithmetic? Would you like them to also learn science, history, and geography? Let's mix in the fun of music, art, and learning through play. Anchor Lutheran School offers this and much more in a class of no more than 22 students. Kindergarten through junior high enrolling now. Anchor Lutheran School on Arctic Boulevard, just north of Diamond. Visit alsalaska.org or call 522-3636 to learn more.
You're on with Fagan and Biegel on Hot Talk KOAN and online at 1080KOAN.com. 6 to 9 a.m. The Talk of the Valley, KVNT.
Welcome back, Fagan, Biegel, and Bonnie. KOAN, KVNT. We're on 4 different signals: 95.1 on FM in Anchorage, 92.5 in the Valley, 1020 in the Valley AM, 1080 AM in Anchorage. We're everywhere. There's Glenn Biegel. He's sitting right over there. There's Bonnie Cameron with Radius Great. She's over there. 569-1080. 569-1080 is the number. So your thought, you complete your thought before we went to the break, Glenn.
Oh, well, I've just started to ask questions of people. I'll make a point, which, I always lead with a point, a fact or two,
yes.
Because I think...
You're talking about on ADN blog.
Fact-based. So Dermot Cole writes a piece today, and he is saying things which I know not to be true.
And it's a clear attempt to rah-rah the Walker mullet ticket.
Well, not only that, it goes way beyond that, and this is what I call him on. He's trying to deceive people.
Yeah.
He says, if Walker and Malott get elected, then this will be the lieutenant governor that we've always been told about. And so
active.
Yeah, the active, involved, the guy in charge, he's the second in command,
right.
He's really helping to run things, and he's making all these decisions.
Let me read what you wrote.
Okay, go ahead.
Dermot Cole, will Malott, is it Malott?
Malott.
Will Malott appoint commissioners? If so, which commissioners? Will he appoint or approve judges? Will he okay the budget cuts that Walker says he wants? Will he write legislation that is not approved by the governor? Our Constitution is clear. The lieutenant governor has none of these responsibilities. I see this opinion piece as pure hope and change. Can you ask Walker some of these real questions instead of making assertions that I think both of us know isn't going to be true? Walker will be the governor. He will make the appointments. He will approve judges. He will wield the veto pen. He will propose budgets and laws. Disagree? Question mark.
And I think this is a really fair question because people get confused by hope and change arguments.
Yes.
I was just surprised to see it come so strong from Dermot Cole, who I'd always considered to be a pretty strong writer and somebody who his job is not to put out, because this is really false. I mean, this isn't kind of maybe sort of false. This is really super duper, completely, totally false. We've never had a lieutenant governor which proposes laws. We've never had a lieutenant governor who approves commissioners. We've never had a lieutenant governor who vetoes items out of the budget.
And what evidence does he have that this would be different?
Yes. That's what I'm looking for. So I love the idea that you're going to assert, because what this does, it doesn't tell us anything about what's going to happen as governor. This tells us about Dermot Cole. which is a man who is different than I thought he was. I did not know this is who Dermot Cole was. I'm really calling out Dermot Cole and calling people to question whether or not our Constitution doesn't allow this to happen. Bill Walker will not allow Byron Malott to run his office or any part of his office.
Why would he?
It's not his job. Do you know how confusing that would be? So you appoint the Revenue Commissioner, and then I'll appoint the Health and Human Services Commissioner. And honestly, is that and that's what I'm asking Dermot Cole. Okay, you've made an assertion here that this guy's going to wield real power, which is a total change. All right, fine, that's great. If that's what you're asserting, tell me how. Tell me how. Show it to me. Yeah. I'd like to see it.
So it's really more of like his opinion.
No, I think it's him trying to tell people, hey, listen, Alaska Natives, don't worry. Malott will not be like every other lieutenant governor. He's going to be in there. He'll be active. He'll be involved. So get out and vote for this ticket. Support it.
Yeah.
Because they want the Democrat.
Well,
they want to know the Democrats more involved.
They want to know that Malott's not just there as a figurehead to get Alaska Natives to vote.
Well, what do they want? And what do Natives want? I'm really not sure. I know that there's a huge, vast sea of hatred that is just welling up about tribal sovereignty, about
hatred.
Get out the vote stuff. I mean,
Alaska Natives feel jilted. They feel like they've been left out of the power structure. They've been left out of the decision-making for the state. And to some degree, they have. We don't have a lot of Alaska Natives in the legislature. We've never had an Alaska Native governor.
We've had lots of Alaska Natives in the legislature, and they're almost always in the majority.
Well, what happens is that Alaska Natives have to join the majority to get projects for the rural areas. And that's the only way they can ever get that done is if they go in there and agree to go along with the Republican majority.
But
that's
do they
not
want?
real power.
That's my real question.
Well, I think they want to have more.
Want?
They want to have more influence in decision making in the state.
No, I mean what specifically? Like, I want this bridge. I would like this road. I want this project. I don't know what they want. I hear a lot of hate, anger, but I don't understand what they want.
You can say hate, Glenn. I think their number one priority is subsistence rights. They don't want non-rural, non-Alaska Native people depleting the fish and game in this state.
But they know that that's not true. That
you're asking me
don't deplete. Okay, but so
no, it is true. What are you kidding me?
No. Bonnie, you go out and subsistence fish, subsistence hunt. Do you think that you taking the fish and game, do you think depletes the resource so that natives don't have enough?
No, they've made it too hard to do that.
Okay, thank you.
Well,
it's just not true. I mean, this is the thing is, and when you get to the point where your argument isn't true, what people will always resort to is, I just don't like you. I hate you, which is why I asked Tara Jolly, a good friend of mine. We worked together on Sarah Palin's campaign. She basically is accusing Sean Parnell in the Catcus issue with the Air National Guard, which is very serious, by the way.
We'll get to that in a minute.
Yeah, but she basically is accusing him of supporting the rape that's been going on base.
Well, she's not. She used to work for him, you know.
Yeah, I know.
But there's some sour grapes there.
Well, I'm trying to find out, and that's why I asked her. What is your real problem with Sean Parnell?
Let's get back to the fish and game and subsistence. You would not deny that there's a limited amount of fish and game in this state.
Of course.
So I think Alaska Natives are concerned about that. We have so many people here now.
They should be more concerned about the commercial fisheries.
Yeah.
Because they're given so many more rights over us.
I agree. But that's part of it. You're asking what they want. This, I think, is their number one concern.
Well, they're constantly being courted. Their votes are constantly being courted.
I'm not saying they're irrelevant.
Politicians.
I'm not saying they're irrelevant, but they're clearly not in charge. Would you deny that? I mean, Parnell's in charge. Before that, it was Frank H. Murkowski. Before that, it was Sarah Palin. Before that, it was Tony Knowles. Now, Tony Knowles was more sympathetic to what they wanted, but it's not like they run the state.
What do you mean he was more sympathetic to what they wanted? Oh,
Katie John, that kind of thing.
But they make rules for who can hunt, that you have to stay in a place for a day before you can hunt, that you can't hunt out of the air.
I'm not arguing that their positions are correct.
Yeah.
We're talking about what they want.
What they're feeling.
Their concerns are.
Yeah.
Why they're angry.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So on subsistence, okay. I think they're wrong, and I accept that this is what they want. They want white people or people who have not been born here or people who are not natives to not have the same rights that they have.
The truth is, they should be mad at the white man. The white leftist socialist liberal
Who's keeping them in victim
who
status.
has ruined their culture by saying, you as a male native are obsolete and irrelevant. You are not needed. We will take you. We will supply the woman that you impregnate with everything she needs, and you're not needed. And it has literally ruined the culture. Frankly, the Ted Stevens, the Tony Knowles, all the politicians through the years who've said government's the answer, more money for the natives, less work, less jobs, fewer jobs. It's all about entitlement.
Well, I got a question for you. How much of that responsibility falls on our heavily Republican legislature, House and Senate, and governorship? Is this a federal problem? I think it largely is a federal problem, but I've been trying to work that out because I'm getting the sense that because things haven't improved in the Bush, even though I think the governor has fought for that, Pebble Mine, things like that, roads to resources, but things aren't improving, and I think they are from what you say. But how much of that falls on the head and shoulders of the legislature and the governor?
I think the vast majority of it falls on the head of Ted Stevens. But now, Mark Beggins is trying to get as much money for rural Alaska entitlements, and so is Obama. Really, it's Obama.
Yeah, this is not specific to natives. Everybody who wants something is willing to vote for the person who will give them the most.
Well, I was looking at the New Orleans paper yesterday.
Oh, really?
Big story. 85 schools in New Orleans now, 100% 3 meals a day.
Yay!
This is Obama.
Yeah.
Barack Obama wakes up every day and says, how can I create new government dependence today? And I would assume the second thought would be, because that will increase my power. Maybe not. Maybe he doesn't understand work.
I think they think along the lines of fairness, but I do think Obama understands how powerful the hand that gives the food to a person. The person who has that hand is a powerful, powerful person.
Yes.
Because you control so much of their life if you control their food.
Yeah, they don't want to teach the person to fish. They just want to give them the fish.
That's right. Because that way you got to keep coming back to them.
Yep.
If they know how to fish,
give them your vote.
They don't need you.
Yep.
Yeah.
I still say the most revealing speech in the history of my lifetime, all the speeches I've seen, is John Kerry when he was running against George Bush, second term, the speech he gave at the Democratic National Convention. Help us on the way. You remember the speech?
Yeah.
To the single mother who can't support her children, help us on the way. To the veteran who can't get health care, help us on the way. To the small business, he went through a whole gamut. And it just, help us on the way, help us on the way. I'm here to help you. And that's really the Democratic Party in a nutshell. You need me. You must vote for me.
You know what's sad is with the EPA the way it is, and this is basically Mark Begich's strongest argument for the way things are. The way things are is if you want a project done, you don't go to the regulator.
Yeah.
You want a project done, you don't go to the feds, you don't go to the person who you have to turn the permit into. You go to Mark Begich's office, and you beg him, Mark Begich, this is such an important project. Could you please give me 3 minutes of your time?
Yeah.
And Mark Begich will get on the phone. And Mark Begich will call somebody in the regulator's office, and Mark Begich will get your project done. That is scary to me.
629, Dan Fagan, Glenn Biegel, Bonnie Cameron.
It's scary to me.
629, Dan Fagan, Glenn Biegel, Bonnie Cameron.
Don't just sit there. Give them a call. 569-1080. Fagan and Biegel.
the age of 75 of natural causes. Testing methods not available in 1984 are available now. And with facial reconstruction imaging, victim advocates are hoping to solve this 3-decade mystery.
The State of Obesity Report. The Robert Wood Johnson Foundation finds obesity increased in Alaska and 5 other states since last year's report. 2 out of 3 American adults are now overweight to obese. Well, that should help to further lower our life expectancy rates. That's your Hot Talk News update.
Cloudy skies with a passing shower for this afternoon, high 54. Rather cloudy tonight, low 48. Partly sunny with a passing shower or 2 for tomorrow, high 58. Saturday night, low 43. Sunday, plenty of sunshine, high 58. And for Monday, plenty of sun, high 61. Hot Talk, breaking news, and the latest weather, KOAN 95.1 FM and 1080 AM.
When you've got the best ingredients, the pizza comes out right. That's just what we're cooking for every appetite. Experience the flavor, call us right away. 24/7, it's a pizza party day.
For the past 20 years, Sicily's Pizza has served Alaskans hot, fresh, quality pizza at a great price. And as a special thanks to all of their loyal customers, Sicily's is having a 20th anniversary sale. Any pizza, any size, for just 20 cents. Now that's an offer that you really can sink your teeth into. Call 333- and carry out only. Best ingredients, best pizza, Sicily's.
Just call Sicily's Pizza. 333-8000.
Make your next corporate or social event spectacular with Logistics LLC. Team Logistics is passionate about their work and welcomes the opportunity to provide you in-depth expertise in creating and transforming your vision into reality. Make Logistics LLC your first call when needing assistance with planning your next event. From gala dinners, holiday parties, company picnics, team building, fundraisers, weddings, and more, Logistics LLC will design, plan, and create an event that provides impact and inspiration that will work within your budget. Team Logistics has the innovative ability to create seamless events that allow our clients to dream big and deliver an amazing event that is sure to wow you. Think Logistics, whatever the reason, and watch them build an environment of magic and wonder for your special occasions. Get a quote and more information online at logisticsllc.com or give them a call at 276-6060.
Is your IT department burdened with first-line support calls about printer jams and broken printers? Are individual departments purchasing expensive printer cartridges that get buried in office supply budgets? Is your printer support strategy really a printer replacement plan? Let Alaska Enterprise Solutions show you how to reduce those high print costs. AES is a Xerox professional agency in Alaska with Xerox's worldwide support behind them. You can reach us at aesalaska.com or 561-5100.
Did you know that one of the state's premier medical facilities is located right in the heart of South Anchorage? Thanks to the Alaska Neurology Center, there's no need to leave Alaska anymore when it comes to treating the nervous system. You'll receive the best care at the Alaska Neurology Center for epilepsy, cerebral palsy, brain injuries, Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, Huntington's disease, multiple sclerosis, speech disorders, and they offer pain management as well. And if you're having trouble sleeping at night, the Alaska Neurology Center has the best sleep disorder experts in the state. They also have the most sophisticated MRI imaging technology in Alaska. If you need relief from stress or from migraines, relax in their luxurious spa. At the Alaska Neurology Center, their massage therapists are amazing. And they offer hydrotherapy, infrared sauna, hot and cold therapy, and shiatsu massage. And their medical spa also offers facials and waxing. The Alaska Neurology Center, located on Diamond and Old Seward.
Glenn Biegel, you have beautiful teeth. Why, thank you, Dan Fagan. That's because my family and I have gone to Dr. Dan Kiley for years. I get scared at the dentist. Dr. Kiley knows people like you are afraid, so he creates a relaxed atmosphere at his office. People actually like going to the dentist for Dr. Kiley. I know it's important to have good dental health. And you look better with good teeth. And Dr. Kiley offers cosmetic dentistry along with general care.
Visit Dr. Dan Kiley at lakeotisdental.com. Call him at 562-9209.
You're on with Fagan and Biegel in the morning. Give him a call, 569.
That's 244-0821.
You're on with Fagan and Biegel in the morning on the Talk of the Valley, KVNT 92.5 FM, 1020 AM.
Welcome back. Friday edition of the Fagan, Biegel, and Bonnie show. Right here on KOAN, KVNT. Dan Fagan, Glenn Biegel, Bonnie Cameron. Our number 569-1080. So, Glenn, you've been following this Alaska National Guard story for a while. General Cactus was he fired yesterday?
He resigned.
He was asked to resign.
Yeah, he was asked to resign.
No, tell me about it, because I really haven't. I haven't followed much. You know, I'm gonna reveal some bias here. When I hear sexual harassment, whatever, hey, you look nice today. That could be considered sexual harassment.
Yeah, but didn't it go beyond that?
Well, I know, but here's my bias.
Oh.
When I hear government waste, my ears perk up. When I hear entitlement culture, my ears perk up. See, that I'm revealing my bias. And this is why in the media, the mainstream media, what perks the ears of a leftist is different than what perks the ears of a conservative. Now, the mainstream media, they hear sexual harassment, their ears perk up. Because they think, men are the oppressors and women are the victims, and that's kind of how they think. Or racism. Their ears are like, boing. So, to my discredit, I've not shown much interest in the story. And that's a shortcoming, and I need to be more open-minded and not be so, tied down by my conservative bias. That's a confession, by the way.
Okay.
So I don't really know much about the story.
Okay.
And plus Shannon Moore wrote about it. Anything she's going to push, really not interested.
Well, this has been one of the hardest things which I've had to deal with. I didn't really know what to do. 2 years ago, about 2 years ago, maybe it wasn't quite that, maybe it was 18 months ago, a couple people out in Wasilla who were Air National Guard people, they were actually investigators. And they brought me out to the house. They gave me a 2-hour presentation, me and somebody else who was on the air. And so they walked me through.
Who else on the air?
It was the guy who left. I think he worked for the Republican. I don't remember.
Casey Reynolds?
I think it was Casey.
Okay.
I have a real bad memory, so don't quote me on that. So anyway, and I don't remember the gentleman's names or anything like that, but I really wasn't sure what to do. So they walked me through for 2 hours what had happened, that the parties that girls who just came into the Guard were invited to, they were given rape drugs and raped at them.
What?
That people were.
Now these are
dozens of people involved in these scandals.
Are investigators.
These are investigators who counseled them, 10 women specifically that they counseled who had been raped.
Who worked for who?
They worked for the Air National Guard.
Okay.
They had been trying to
So it's like the internal affairs of a police department.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah. So
they brought you and Casey out.
These are who the people who have been raped had actually gone to. People had complained about the problems with this is not sexual harassment. This is sexual assault.
Okay.
People who themselves had been raped. They went into a lot of detail about these instances and about all kinds of other stuff that was going on at the base.
They had evidence. The victims came forward.
Yes. Oh, yes.
Making an assertion.
Yeah. The victims came forward, gave these guys evidence. I mean, there were chaplains involved. There was a very large thing. This has been going on for a long period of time, apparently, ever since Katkus got there. I didn't know what to do. So what I did do is I went on air and I said, I have heard this as an issue. I went on the air at the time. I've gone on several times since then. I even brought it up with the governor, which I thought may have been because he was finally confronted with it. I asked him if he'd heard anything about it.
What did he say?
I asked the mayor if he'd heard anything about it. They say, well, I haven't really heard much about it. I'll look into it.
Why would you ask the mayor? He has nothing to do with it.
Well, actually, it turns out the Anchorage Police Department, if there's a sexual assault on the Air National Guard base, are supposed to investigate.
Their jurisdiction.
Now, and one of the difficult things, and one of the things that I wrote about, because I wrote several responses to this, because I think that this really is a big deal, that I hope that they do look into this difficulty between the Anchorage Police Department not investigating these rapes when they had been reported to them. They said, well, that's not really our jurisdiction. Actually, it is their jurisdiction. It's 100% their jurisdiction.
And what's the time frame in which this happened?
I don't know. I took it to be 2.5 years ago to 18 months ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
So under Dan Sullivan's tenure.
Under Dan Sullivan's tenure. And what I did was I told ladies, do not go to these parties. The first parties that they have for new recruits. Okay. Do not go to them. Don't go anywhere near them.
So you met with the women also and the investigators?
I didn't meet with the women. I didn't know what to do.
You told them. You said you told the ladies.
On air?
Yeah, I told people on air several times that I'd heard these allegations. I didn't talk to anybody specifically, personally.
He's just sending out a warning.
Right. Yeah, sending out a warning because I thought that was at least good, and then I would confront people as I'd heard about it, and I would bring it up regularly. So I see this as a real problem.
So it never got traction when you brought it up? Nobody?
No, I don't know. I don't know what traction it did get. Yeah.
So why do you think it took so long? Because did Shannon Moore kind of bring this all to light with her column?
I think Shannon Moore has been pushing this. Okay. To her credit.
See, now this is the problem with Shannon. And I suppose we suffer of this too, because she'll call Dan Sullivan racist, she'll call Sean Parnell anti-oil or pro-oil lackey, and she makes these scurrilous, ridiculous allegations, and then when she actually has some meat, nobody takes her seriously.
The girl who cries wolf. Yeah. No, you're right. You're right, and it's very difficult, and I don't know whether or not she was the person. She was cited several times that she's been pushing this for a long period of time.
So when you had the governor on and you confronted him, what did he say specifically?
Well, I remember Dan Sullivan. I remember having Dan Sullivan on.
But you didn't confront the governor.
I don't remember if I confronted the governor or not. I think I confronted Dan Sullivan on this and asked him if he'd heard about it, and he said that he hadn't heard about it and that he would look into it.
So you did not. I thought you said earlier you confronted the governor.
Yeah, I know. I have bad memory. So I basically what I did.
Did you confront General Cactus?
No, Cactus never came on.
Did you talk to anybody in the state government about it, or anybody in the National Guard about it?
No. Well, other than those investigators, no.
So is it just getting traction now because it's election season, or?
No, this is a big deal.
Did you get the investigators on your show?
An enormous deal. No,
they didn't want to come on.
No, they didn't.
Okay.
And they were in the process because part of what they highlight is the fact that there was lots of retribution going on for anybody who highlighted this. And they actually were in the process of being fired, removed from their positions.
By whom?
By the people who are highlighted in this story. Let me see. There's
General Cactus?
General Cactus, but he used, let me see the name of this organization. Something having to do with...
So Parnell was slow to move in this, in your opinion?
I think so. I think that he trusted Cactus far longer than he should have. He probably got overwhelming information that, look, there's really a problem here, and maybe he met with somebody finally who convinced him.
But when you sat down with these investigators,
yeah,
was there any doubt in your mind the case they made to you was credible?
No doubt at all.
So why would Governor Parnell not move forward? Did he move forward, but he just moved forward slowly?
My understanding is he called for the investigation in February.
And when did you meet with the investigators?
I would say it's about 18 months ago. That's just a really rough guess.
He didn't call it until investigation until just this February?
Yeah, he called on the investigation.
And yet the investigators
February, I think is what it said.
Did the investigators say they went to the governor?
The investigators I don't think they'd gone to the governor. They were still working within the National Guard or something along those lines.
And the media.
Yeah. So.
Wow. Well, we got to get the governor on and ask him why it took so long.
Yeah.
That'll be the next question we ask when we get him on. 6:44. It took so long.
Yeah.
That'll be the next question we ask when we get him on. 6:44.
You're on with Fagan and Biegel. Give them a call. 569-1080. KOAN.
Now I have some good news and some bad news. Bad news first.
The season is running short for fresh Copper River silver salmon. In fact, the run is most likely through this weekend. So here's your last chance. The good news, New Sagay and City Market have some new, fresh Copper River silvers at the exceptionally low price of $4.99 a pound for the whole cleaned fish. But this is the last weekend. Fresh, fat Copper River silvers, $4.99 a pound right now in New Sagaya and City Market. Oh, I'll tell you what, Washington State peaches are extraordinary this week, and they're not only ripe and sweet, they're also huge, big, softball-sized peaches picked fresh and ripe in eastern Washington, sweet and juicy, and just $2.99 a pound from New Sagaya and City Market. Fill up your gunny sack. The butcher shops have excellent free-range fryers on special, just $1.99 a pound. Get them right now. Free-range fryers at New Sagaya and City Market, just $1.99 a pound. Good stuff from New Sagaya Midtown and City Market 13th and I.
Trail Boss Solutions is an Alaskan-owned, nationally recognized top 500 construction and remodel firm. From our handyman services to our award-winning kitchen design and remodel, Trail Boss Solutions is fully licensed, bonded, and insured, and has the experienced professionals to take your project from initial design through completion on time and on budget. Please visit us on the web at trailboss-solutions.com or contact Trail Boss Solutions direct at 646-1403.
Pete's Parrot Emporium.
Pete. Pete.
How may I help you?
Help.
Be quiet.
Quiet.
Silence.
If only everything in business was as easy as Wix. Wix's drag-and-drop website builder makes it simple to create your stunning website yourself. Just choose a design from hundreds of beautiful Wix templates and customize it however you want. Go to Wix.com today. It's easy and free.
Wix.com.
Hot Talk KOAN, man. You're on with Fagan and Biegel. 1080. Fagan and Biegel. Weekday mornings from 6 to 9 a.m. on the Talk of the Valley. KVNT.
Welcome back to the broadcast. 6:47. It's a Friday. How about that? Congratulations on making it to Friday. As you plug along in life and you make your way and you create your wealth for the next generation of your brood, you want to be able to leave your kids and your grandkids not only a legacy of values and an example of how to live a virtuous life, but you want to leave them some money. You know, you want to make it easier for them. You want to make their path less difficult than the path you went down. And that's what Mike Daniels and his team at Country Financial can do for you. You know, it's all about making a better way for the next generation. I really believe that. And the decisions you make with your finances today will affect your children. It just will. And Mike Daniels and his team, they're very wise when it comes to handling money, financial planning. And I would recommend you give them a call. Go talk to them. They're big player here in Alaska, 13 different Country Financial locations here in the state of Alaska, 5 in Anchorage, 5 out in the valley. They're going to ask you the right questions. They're going to get you toward not only a worry-free retirement, but give you an opportunity to leave something for your kids and grandkids. Country Financial, the number 866-COUNTRY, 866-COUNTRY. I believe country spelled COUNTRY. Is that right, Bonnie?
Yes, but I say it much better.
649.
And do we even use the country or the spellings anymore? I mean, nobody looks at their phone. I mean, are the letters even on numbers on the phones anymore?
Yeah, sure they are.
I haven't noticed.
What kind of phone do you have? What do you got, like a flip phone now?
No.
So your phone dialer needs to have spell check.
Yeah.
That's the newest area.
It's just funny because now I just look it up on Safari or whatever, and it says call. Yes, I mean, we live in such a nice world.
Yeah, I know.
So nice.
There's a clip. I might play that today because it's Friday. Louis C.K. It's one of the best clips you'll ever hear about how everything's amazing, but yet we're all unhappy. That's the clip. He was on KOAN.
Right.
Have you heard it?
No,
Have you
that
heard
sounds
it,
about right.
No. It's absolutely incredible.
Oh, there are letters.
Yeah.
Huh.
That's Bonnie for the first time realizing there are letters on a phone.
No, I just didn't know they had them on
How old
phones
are you?
anymore.
Are you out of high school?
I'm not going to say anymore.
So we're talking about this
Air National Guard.
Air National Guard deal. It's still it's just sad. And if it's true that women were raped, and Glenn, you met with the investigators, you feel like there's some real there's some some validity to this scandal. Well, obviously, yes. The fact that Parnell asked Cactus to resign. The big question is, now you met with these investigators a year and a half ago, approximately. If this was covered up, that's one thing, and that's egregious. But if there was a cover-up that led to more victims, that's heads need to roll.
Oh, look, I think there's vast amounts of illegality going on the base, and this isn't looking. I'm not looking for resignations. I want people in jail, and I want people made whole.
And a couple of things we're gonna really focus on this, because here are the questions we need to know. What did the governor know? When did he know it? That's the first thing we got to learn. You say that it is the jurisdiction of APD, Anchorage Police Department, to investigate these matters. What did Mayor Sullivan know? And when did he know it? And what did he do about it? That's what we need to know. And we need to get Mayor Sullivan on. We need to get Governor on, or someone with his office, and get answers to those questions.
Agreed. It's a big deal. I know that the governor is very trusting of the people who are around him. I don't know when Katkus came on or how he got there. So I need to know the answers to those questions too, since this is such a troubling. I mean, these are our troops.
Well, anytime you victimize women in a sexual manner, that's just.
But to have no hope, I mean. These are closed systems, to have no one to go to go to someone to complain about it, and then to be assaulted.
How many women came forward?
These investigators knew of 10, and
they say they were sexually assaulted.
That these 10 women all were sexually assaulted in the process, and some of them had come forward. A lot of them had gone to priests or chaplains, and then they had been told to go to investigators. These were the investigators, sort of at the core.
And the investigators
of this
were not allowed to do their job.
They were not allowed to do their job. They were not allowed to remove.
Did they give you names of people who stopped them from doing their jobs?
Well, Katkus was a big part of that, and he and the people, and then they were being removed from their positions.
Yes.
Are
they still in their positions?
I don't think so. They were about a month out from getting released.
What would prevent us from getting in touch with them now again?
I think people should come forward.
Do you have the contact information?
I don't have any. I can look. I could try and look back and see and try and remember who.
Because we should get them on.
I probably could drive to their house easier than remember what their name was. Which is
Well, we should definitely get them on next week if they'll talk.
Why did they contact you? Were they trying to get traction for the story?
Yeah, I was in the media. They listened to the show, and they thought maybe he'll do something about it.
Did they talk to other media people?
Well, yeah, there was another radio personality there. I'm pretty sure it was Casey, and
his show got dismal ratings.
Yeah, and I thought that he would go and that we would work on it, because I kept contacting him. I said, well, what do you want to do on this? And he said, well, I'm working on it. And nothing ever happened. That went on for about 2.5 months. So I just started talking about it in the air, which is what I thought I could do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, yeah, this is a big deal. Couldn't if there's any kind of here's a predicament. And this is one thing that I've always it's hard. It's hard. I believe that if Bill Walker becomes governor, it's going to cause great harm and devastation for our economy. I really believe that. But if Sean Parnell led to the victimization of women sexually because he was so slow to take decisive action, then he should not be reelected.
Well, and it wouldn't be. Here's the thing. If I may give you a little bit of comfort, if he is at fault here, the one thing which will give us comfort is he won't be unelected because we hate the oil industry. That Bill Walker and his dislike for the oil industry is not going to become part of our state's DNA. It'll be a temporary correction, as I think, look, Sarah Palin was needed to clean up Bill Allen's mess.
No, she was not.
Yes, she was. Bill Allen had created distrust in the legislature. There were 6 people who were arrested. That's why she got elected.
She was practically a whistleblower.
Yeah,
Who,
exactly.
Sarah?
She was a whistleblower. Yeah.
Sarah?
Yeah.
Who did she blow the whistle on?
On Randy Reed.
Yeah, I did the story with Channel 2.
The GCC.
I'm the one who broke that story.
Yeah. Anyways, but she came up, and that's
she
basically
that
what she ran on.
Corruption?
Now, there was lasting damage to our relationship with the oil industry because of Sarah Palin, because she disliked them so much. But her election wasn't because she hated the oil industry. It was in spite of the fact that she hated the oil industry. It was to clean up corruption.
Yeah.
If we elect Bill Walker, it won't be because we want to go to war with the oil industry. It is because we want to clean up. If there is, and I'm not saying there is, I don't know when Parnell knew what he knew.
Let's just be very clear about Sean Parnell. Sean Parnell is an honorable, decent man who I believe cares very much about women who are victimized sexually, women and girls. Because he's the only governor in the history of the state that's ever actually taken the courageous, politically incorrect stance to talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
He's taken Decent Jacobson hates the guy because he raised the issue. You know, a lot of angry Native women hate him because he would dare speak of this. So
why would they feel that way? I don't get that.
That's a whole different story. But the man's got a good heart. The one thing that I see that he has is that, you know, the whole thing when we built a crime lab for $120 million, in every other place in America they're about $10 million, and Parnell refused to stand up to the builders who wanted to charge us for that. That was a major deal, and it's an indicative of his I don't want to make waves kind of approach to life. When Gene Theriault was going to get an extra $1 million in his pension by being hired immediately after he was out of the legislature, which is illegal, Parnell refused to stand up to Theriault and say no. Same with Nancy Dahlstrom. So there is this tendency with this guy to kind of, I don't think we should. Let's not, you know, let's just shh.
Keep things quiet, which should not be kept quiet.
Yes. So there is that tendency. He is so slow to act. He's so deliberate. You know, as I said in my column on danfagan.us yesterday, which, by the way, got thousands of views on it. It was amazing how many people went to that thing. But I think he's an incredible record. He's gotten more done than any governor that I can think of in recent history. But there is that thing that he's so cautious, sometimes to a fault.
Yeah.
569-1080, 569-1080. Bonnie Cameron, she's sitting right over here. This is Glenn Biegel. I'm Dan Fagan. Time currently 6:58. Happy Friday to you. 6:58. Happy Friday to you.
What in the name of Blackbeard's ghost is going on here?
Yar, it's the 2014 Pirate Pub Crawl in downtown Anchorage, Captain, on Saturday, September 20th.
Shiver me timbers, we'll need to batten down the hatches and set our course to help raise money for the Blood Bank of Alaska's treasure chest, else we'll be sent to Davy Jones' locker.
Aye, navigate your way to Town Square at 7 p.m. for a group photo with your crew. Make way anytime after 7 p.m. to the participating pubs in downtown Anchorage with your treasure map to win 80,000 air miles and more.
We need it now! Dive hole to AnchorageDowntown.org for more details and discounts on hotel stay, costumes, and parking at Easy Park lots for the night.
Yo ho, me hearties.
We best be seeing your scallywags at the Pirate Pub Crawl on September 20th.
Brought to you by the Anchorage Downtown Pirate Ship, K&H Graphics, the Blood Bank of Alaska, the Odom Corporation, Dooley's Tuxedos and Rentals, and Alaska Integrated Media.
You're listening to Hot Talk, KOAN, Anchorage, AM 1080, and retranslated on 95.1 FM on K236CG, Anchorage.
Fox News Radio, I'm Dave Anthony. The months of deadly fighting in Ukraine that Russia's accused of stoking is supposed to stop right now. A ceasefire has been agreed to, while NATO made plans to battle Russia if necessary. Fox News Radio Simon Owen live at the NATO summit in Cardiff, Wales.
Dave, NATO's leader saying it's too early to tell if the ceasefire can be considered a real breakthrough.
One thing, of course, is to declare a ceasefire. The next and crucial step, of course, is to implement it.
NATO head Anders Fogh Rasmussen speaking as President Obama and the leaders of the other 27 NATO states wrap up a two-day summit here with focus on Ukraine. They've agreed to set up what NATO calls a rapid response force with around 5,000 soldiers set to be based in Eastern Europe with the aim of deterring Russia from trying to destabilize other NATO members in the region today.
Well, Simon, also at the summit, the president talked to our allies about how to stop ISIS militants who've terrorized Iraq and Syria, beheading 2 American journalists and other atrocities. The president will hold a news conference later this hour. The job market cooled off last month. Fox News Radio's Rachel Sutherland explains live from Washington.
The private sector added 142,000 jobs in August, well below the 225,000 economists had predicted. At the same time, the unemployment rate went down to 6.1% as more people stopped looking for work. The drop in hiring is a 6-month-long streak of 200,000 plus jobs added each month. Economists cite weak manufacturing and retailing cuts. Revised data from June and July show 28,000 fewer positions were created than first reported.
On Wall Street, the Dow was down about 40 points. A third American infected with Ebola in Africa, now back in the U.S. Before Dr. Rick Saker's flight to Omaha landed this morning, his wife said,
Rick is clearly sick, but that he was in very good spirits.
He's in a special isolation unit in Nebraska. 2 other Americans treated in Atlanta last month have recovered. Fox News Radio, fair and balanced.
Gear up for fall and haul in the savings. Choose 0% 60-month financing or big cash off select John Deere tractors. From the 1 family to 150 horsepower utility tractors. Plus, get $1,500 off new 1 family tractors when you buy 2 implements. Offer ends October 31st, 2014, subject to approved credit on John Deere financial installment plan. Some restrictions apply. See a participating dealer for details.
Visit your local John Deere dealer today to take advantage of special savings going on now. Find out more at myjohndeeredealer.com.
Attention homeowners, I'm Jay Farner, president of Quicken Loans. We've told you about HARP in the past. There are so many more of you who could be saving hundreds of dollars every month on your mortgage. It's simple and easy. And for 4 years in a row now, J.D. Power has ranked Quicken Loans highest in the nation in customer satisfaction for primary mortgage origination. To learn more, call 800-QUICKEN.
Visit jdpower.com for award information. Important terms and conditions apply. Calls for cost information. Equal option. Lender licensed law 50 states and MLS number 3030.
When you've got the best ingredients, the pizza comes out right. That's just what we're cooking for every appetite. Experience the flavor, call us right away. 24/7, it's a pizza party day.
For the past 20 years, Sicily's Pizza has served Alaskans hot, fresh, quality pizza at a great price. And as a special thanks to all of their loyal customers, Sicily's is having a 20th anniversary sale. Any pizza, any size, for just 20 cents. Now that's an offer that you really can take with pizza. Call 333-8000 and order the Sicily's 20th anniversary special. Buy any pizza, any size, and get a second pizza for only 20 cents. Order online at sicilyspizza.com. Offer valid for pickup and carry out only. Best ingredients, best pizza, Sicily.
Sicily's Pizza, 333-8000.
This is Olympic cross-country skier Holly Brooks. Are you an adult who wants to help today's girls become tomorrow's leaders? Girl Scouts of Alaska is looking for volunteers. Lead a Girl Scout troop, coach a Lego robotics team, or present at a workshop. Parents, grandparents, college students, and retirees can all be Girl Scout volunteers. All you need is a willingness to help make tomorrow's leaders from today's girls. Girls like me, because I was a Girl Scout. Visit www.girlscoutsalaska.org or call 248-2250.
Glenn, every once in a while you find a hidden gem right here in Anchorage.
You're talking about the Snow Leopard Boutique.
I am.
Owner Eileen Bear has an amazing eye for beauty.
For decorating ideas, it doesn't get any better than Snow Leopard Boutique.
They have 2,400 square feet of everything you need to beautify yourself and your home.
Glenn, I noticed a calming atmosphere the moment I walked in.
Dan, how about those chocolate truffles?
Yeah, and you can wash them down with a free latte.
The Snow Leopard Boutique
at the corner of Tudor and Old Seward.
When Malarkey Mark Begich ran for U.S. Senator, he made a lot of claims about his record as Anchorage mayor. Begich knew the truth wouldn't come to light before the election. But now, history is caught up with Malarkey Mark. Under Begich, Anchorage taxes went up 27%. Under Begich, the city budget ballooned, a $142 million increase in spending. Under Begich, the city was saddled with unprecedented 5-year union contracts. Under Begich, a deficit of over $20 million was left for the next mayor to deal with. Begich left Anchorage in serious trouble. Alaska's Energy, America's Values paid for and is responsible for the content of this advertising. It's time to replace Malarkey Mark with U.S. Senator Dan Sullivan. Not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. EnergyandValues.com.
You're on with Fagan and Biegel on Hot Talk KOAN. Biegel. Weekdays 6 to 9 a.m. The Talk of the Valley. KVNT.
6 minutes past 7 o'clock on a Friday. Is it really Friday? Is it really, honestly, Friday? You know, our good friends over at the Alaska Neurology Center, we had Brooke Luna on yesterday. She works over there. Those guys, I was so impressed with her description of everything the Alaska Neurology Center does. It's really an amazing medical facility, and it's showing, it's a good indication of where we've come in Alaska as far as our expertise in healthcare. This Alaska Neurology Center, which is located in South Anchorage in the old Borders bookstore right there on Diamond and Old Stewart Highway, it's one of the nicest facilities in the country when it comes to any type of neurological disorder. But they even do more than that. They'll help you sleep at night. If you're having problems with your memory, they'll help you with that. There's just 1,000 things that they can do anytime it involves the brain or nerves, and it's an amazing facility. You walk in to the lobby and you'll think, wow, this is like one of the fanciest places I've ever been in. They've even got a spa there too, by the way. And sleeping at night, you're having trouble, they'll fix you. They'll hook you up. I promise you. Alaska Neurology Center. Here's the number: 565-6000. 565-6000. Again, they're in the old Borders bookstore right there on Diamond and the Old Sword Highway. Our number, 569-1080. 569-1080. I want to play this clip. I just love this clip. And I my old show, I'd probably play it once a year. I just think it's look, I'm telling you, Glenn. I'm telling you, Bonnie. That's your name, right, Bonnie? I'm telling you. The key to happiness in life. One word. Can you guess? Who wants to guess?
Gratitude.
Boom! Stop your belly aching.
I used to know this one. Sorry, I have to tell you. This lady that I knew, she was very, very old. I mean, in her late 80s or whatever. And every time you'd say, "Hi, Eleanor, how are you today?" And she'd say, "Thankful."
Ah.
Every time, no matter
Very
what,
nice.
she would say thankful, or I think she might say blessed or something like that. But
I had
it's so encouraging.
I had a friend. She would every night before she'd go to bed, she would write three. Right, that you get. Her rule was it could never be the same, and every night before she went to bed, she would write down 3 things that she's grateful for.
Mm-hmm.
But you'd have to come up with something new every night. And she said once she started doing that, it really changed her. And
Yeah.
Gratitude is so. Yeah. It's so important.
I think that's the key to prayer, by the way.
Yes, that is prayer.
Yeah.
Because think about it. When you say, "I'm thankful," who are you thankful to? God.
Mm-hmm.
He's the creator of all life. So when you talk about gratitude, I'm not grateful to anybody but God, because I wouldn't be breathing right now if it wasn't for Him. Right?
Yeah.
No, you're right. It is prayer.
Sure.
And it tenderizes your heart. It's hard to be proud and haughty and hard-hearted and bitter when you're grateful. You really can't be.
Mm-hmm.
You can't be depressed and be grateful. It's impossible.
Mm-hmm.
Those two do not mix. So anyway, this clip is Louis C.K. He's a comedian. Streaming this bit on Conan to make people aware of gratitude, but it made me realize how, as a culture, we've lost the whole idea of gratitude, because this is an amazing time in our lives. I mean, this is an amazing time period, right?
Absolutely. You look at the technological advances, and how much wealth a single person can create and govern, and how comfortable we live.
It's unbelievable.
Amazing.
We got time to play this clip, Brian? All right, here's Louis C.K. on Conan.
Back then, yeah. Those were simpler times, I think. I just feel like we may be going back to that, by the way. But in a way, good, because when I read things like the foundations of capitalism are shattering, I'm like, maybe we need that. Maybe we need some time where we're walking around with a donkey with pots clanging on the sides.
You think that would just bring us back to reality?
Yeah, because everything is amazing right now, and nobody's happy. Like, in my lifetime, the changes in the world have been incredible. When I was a kid, we had a rotary phone. We had a phone that you had to stand next to, and you had to dial it.
Yes.
You realize how primitive? You're making sparks in a phone, and you actually would hate people with zeros in their numbers because it was more like, oh, this guy's got 2 zeros. Screw that guy. Why do I want to? And then if they called and you weren't home, the phone would just ring lonely by itself. And then if you wanted money, you had to go in the bank for when it was open for like 3 hours. You had to stand in line, write yourself a check like an idiot. And then when you ran out of money, you just go, well, I can't do any more things now.
Right.
I can't do any more things.
That's it, yeah.
That was it. And even if you had a credit card, the guy would go, oh, and he'd bring out this whole shunk, and he'd write, he'd have to call the president to see if you had any money. And
it's all true, kids. You had to call the president, yeah. It was ridiculous.
Yes.
Do you feel that we now, in the 21st century, we take technology for granted?
Well, yeah, because now we live in an amazing, amazing world, and it's wasted on the crappiest generation of just spoiled idiots that don't care, because this is what people are like now. They got their phone, and they're like, it won't. Give it a second. It's going to space. Can you give it a second to get back from space? Is the speed of light too slow for you? Yeah. I was on an airplane, and there was internet, high-speed internet on the airplane. That's the newest thing that I know exists. And I'm sitting on the plane, and they go, open up your laptop. You can go on the internet. And it's fast, and I'm watching YouTube clips. I'm in an airplane. And then it breaks down, and they apologize. The internet's not working. The guy next to me goes, this is bull. Like, how quickly the world owes him something he knew existed only 10 seconds ago.
Right.
And on planes, flying is the worst one, because people come back from flights and they tell you their story, and it's like a horror story. They act like their flight was like a cattle car in the 40s in Germany. That's how bad they make it sound.
Right.
They're like, it was the worst day of my life. First of all, we didn't board for 20 minutes. Right. And then we get on the plane, and they made us sit there on the runway for 40 minutes. We had to sit there. Oh, really? What happened next? Did you fly through the air incredibly like a bird? Did you partake in the miracle of human flight, you non-contributing zero, that you got to fly? You're flying! It's amazing. Everybody on every plane should just constantly be going, oh my God! Wow!
Yes!
You're flying. You're sitting in a chair in the sky.
Yes. Yeah. That's right.
But it doesn't go back a lot. And it's not really, here's the thing. People, they say there's delays on flights. Yeah. Delays, really? New York to California in 5 hours. That used to take 30 years to do that, and a bunch of you would die on the way there and have a baby. You'd be a whole different group of people by the time you got there. Now you watch a movie and you take a dump and you're home.
Yeah. Nicer way to say it than that, but yes.
No.
Fagan and Biegel on Hot Talk KOAN and online at 1080KOAN.com.
Now, I have some good news and some bad news. Bad news first. The season is
1020 AM.
for salmon. In fact, the run is most likely through this weekend. So here's your last chance. The good news, New Sagai and City Market have some new, fresh Copper River silvers at the exceptionally low price of $4.99 a pound for the whole cleaned fish. But this is the last weekend. Fresh, fat Copper River silvers, $4.99 a pound right now, New Sagai and City Market. Oh, I'll tell you what, Washington State peaches are extraordinary this week, and they're not only ripe and sweet, they're also huge. Big, softball-sized peaches picked fresh and ripe in eastern Washington, sweet and juicy, and just $2.99 a pound from New Sagai and City Market. Fill up your gunny sack. The butcher shops have excellent free-range fryers on special, just $1.99 a pound. Get them right now. Free-range fryers at New Sagai and City Market, just $1.99 a pound. Good stuff from New Sagai in Midtown and City Market 13th and I.
Employers, you know valuable employees help grow your business. You want qualified, educated, friendly, and hardworking employees. Well, we have the perfect solution. Plan to be at the annual Jobs Fair, sponsored by Alaska Dispatch News and Alaska Integrated Media. It's at the Egan Center on September 10th from 10:30 a.m. to 5 p.m. There are still spots available for booths, so if you're a local business interested in participating, send an email to jobfair@adn.com. Come join us and find the next star of your team.
Safety, safety, safety. I'm saying it 3 times. Studies show you need to hear something 3 times to remember it. So remember, safety, safety, safety is important to me, me, me. That's why I love Grainger. Grainger has the products to help keep our facilities safe and people safer. Say it with me, kid. Safety, safety, safety from Grainger, Grainger, Grainger. When you think safety, think Grainger. Get it? Got it? Good. Call clickgrainger.com/safety or stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
You're on with Fagan and Biegel in the morning. Give them a call, 569-1080. You're on with Fagan and Biegel in the morning on the Talk of the Valley, KVNT 92.5 FM, 1020.
You know, you don't think about your roof very often, but it's an important thing. A roof is important. You want to have a roof over your head. Let me just tell you right now, if you don't have a roof over your head, my recommendation to you would be to get one. And the folks at Earhart Roofing, they're all about putting a roof on your house that is going to last you a really long time. Well, they guarantee it. Not 10 years, not 20 years, not even 30 years. They guarantee it 50 years. 50-year guarantee, folks. Are you kidding me? It's unheard of. But that's how Frank and Becky and their son James Earhart, that's how confident they are with the work that they do. You know, Earhart Roofing, it's a wonderful story. They started 42 years ago as a small family business. Now they have 17 trucks, 60 employees. They're good at what they do, and that's what happens in America. When you're good at what you do, you grow because people love quality, and that's Earhart Roofing. Here's the number, 345-5555. 345-5555, Earhart Roofing. Our time, 7:18. Okay, Amanda Coyne is mad. I love her. I love Amanda Coyne. I love Amanda Coyne. She voted for Malott. She said that on her piece.
Yeah.
And now they took that vote away from her, and she feels disenfranchised.
And she highlighted that fact, which is what Bonnie brought up the other day.
And now she's got a piece out today, or just yesterday, about Bill Walker, and really she just lays out how Bill Walker is very opposed to gay marriage and very opposed to abortion. This is not a peripheral issue for him. He's solid on it.
She went to the effort that I don't know that I've ever seen anyone at the Anchorage Daily News do.
You know, those guys have
I just want to highlight how amazing of a reporter she is. She wants to make her case. You know who she goes to? Alaska Right to Life.
Right.
She says, could you just show me an image of his, of your voter card from last time? So she gets the image of the voter card. She goes and talks to the head of Alaska Right to Life. Look, she's not making stuff up. She actually asked a real question, like how pro-life is this guy? Dermot Cole just totally made stuff up.
Dermot Cole wants Malott and Walker to win so badly, he basically made up a scenario that Walker will allow Malott to be the first lieutenant governor in history to be unconstitutional and do half the stuff the governor's supposed to do.
Right.
It was ridiculous, and you called him on it.
Yeah.
But Amanda, you're right, Glenn, the complete opposite. She actually has facts.
Yeah.
Instead of a scenario that she wishes are true.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then, but the facts are that Bill Walker is rabidly pro-life.
Yes.
So I asked my pro-death culture friends.
I'm sure they love it when you call them that.
I'm sure
We're
they
for
consider-
choice. Don't you understand?
I'm sure they love it when you call them friends.
So those of you who are pro-death culture and are my friends, I ask you, who do you hate more? The oil industry or the war on women? Because if you're going to support Bill Walker, as Mr. Begich is telling us, and with millions of dollars, is the same as Dan Sullivan, and he has this war on women going on. So what if you're a woman and Bill Walker wants to take away your reproductive health? I had someone on my Facebook said that Dan Sullivan wants to take away our reproductive health, and some guy went on there and said abortion is not health, it is execution.
Spot on.
Dead right. But that's the predicament. What do you do, rabid death culture person?
I think they only have one option. They have to write in Mark Begich for governor. Because if he loses the Senate, he could still win governorship, and then that's their answer. At least they get to keep somebody in their culture, their death culture.
Now, you say Walker has gone back on his word about something, or what?
He had to. It's from my understanding, you are not allowed to say, if you elect me, I will do X. If you elect me, I am going to vote A, B, or C. You're not allowed to say that, and
what are you talking about?
People running for office. In other words, on specific pieces of legislation, you can't promise your vote. What? You can't promise what you'll do after you gain office for a vote.
I thought that's what we went through the whole senatorial race with amnesty and life and.
Yeah. So this is what had to happen, and it's
but I don't think that's right.
Kind of surprising.
You can't say what you're going to do in office when you're campaigning?
No, you can't.
I can see that you would say, I'm not going to vote for this person as a judge, or have this person as a judge.
So you
I don't know that you can say that either.
What?
Well, I can see that.
But you can't say, if you elect me, I will vote no on this piece of legislation that is before the legislature.
Of course you can say that.
You can't.
What are you talking about?
You can't. But that's my understanding of what the law is. If somebody has better information, but that's my understanding of what the law is.
Here's where I think you're wrong. What you cannot do is say, if you give me $500, I will vote against raising taxes on the oil industry. You cannot quid pro quo for a campaign donor, but you can say anything you want, Glenn, on the campaign trail.
Independent gubernatorial candidate Bill Walker on Thursday took back a promise to veto any legislation that would weaken abortion rights in Alaska, saying he shouldn't have committed himself to a position on hypothetical bills. That's further than I wanted to go. I did something poorly, and I went further. I sit on several boards, Dan, education boards mostly, for Alaska Home Educators primarily. But I was also on the board of Alaska Right to Life. And you could not say, people are very careful to say, I will not vote on a bill that gives vouchers, because they don't know the specifics of the legislation, and you can't promise. You can't promise your vote. You can't. That's what we were told.
But that's
we were told that by legislator after legislator after legislator.
That's for an endorsement or financial.
It could be endorsement, financial. We weren't given any money. We were just asking them questions. Do you support vouchers?
Mm-hmm.
So you can go into issues and things like that, but you couldn't ask them, will you support legislation which enables vouchers? It's weird things like that.
Yeah, but he's just trying to appease the Democratic voters.
At this point, he's not. At this point, he's saying, I'm walking back. I told you I would not allow any pro-life legislation. That's not true. I went way further than I want. And at this point, he's taking back what he said. This is a big change. And Democrat voters, as Dan has pointed out, they've got a hard decision to make.
Well, so do, conservative people, too.
Yeah. I'm going to be fascinated, by the way, to what Mark Begich does with this race. Does he get close to Malott? Because Begich and Malott, same deal. They went forward at the AFN convention and said, the number one thing you have to do in November is elect Malott and Begich. Malott is your governor and Begich is your senator.
I was talking to a gal yesterday who's very active in AFN, and she was telling me that this is going to be an amazing convention. because the native corporations, most of them, were very anti-Prop 1 because they've got so many jobs now.
Oh, yeah.
And the leaders of the native corporations do not like the idea of Bill Walker as governor because they know he'll resurrect the war on oil. And so, but yet a lot of the rank and file Alaska Natives, they're anti-oil. So she thinks that it's going to be very heated and very divisive, and it's going to get ugly.
Mm.
And plus, you throw Malott in the mix. Well, you got to vote for him just because he's a native, which a lot of Alaska Natives will do. It's going to be interesting.
Yeah. Well, Malott, from my understanding, represents sort of the insider view of native control over things. He was head of Sea Alaska Corporation,
yeah.
I think is what the deal was. A lot of younger natives are not really clued into that. They don't like this establishment. Essentially, there's establishment natives who basically run things, and they're kind of corporate interests and things like that. So I know that he'll get a lot of people to vote for him, a lot of natives to vote for him. But I've been told that there are some younger natives that are uncomfortable with the power structure that has been for such a long period of time.
But I would imagine he'll get 90% of the native vote.
Maybe
Barack
90,
Obama
80.
got 98% of the black vote.
Oh my gosh,
98%.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, but I understand when you're a minority, you feel disenfranchised, and one of your own gets to the point where they can rise to prominence. You're gonna support them. It's just, I understand that.
Well, either way, they're going to get more out of the Malott Walker ticket than they are Parnell.
In more in the way of what?
Entitlements. I mean, they're gonna they want.
They're all saying they don't want entitlements. I read 100 comments about we have the highest percentage of people on welfare in the state of Alaska, higher than anywhere else in the country.
Yep.
And per native after native after native, they say we don't want entitlement. We want jobs. That is what we want. And by the way, that's my hope. So I don't think they're voting on that. I think they're voting on something else. It's us versus them. They just don't understand that if they go with Mark Begich, they get less. You get less jobs. You get less prosperity. You get less freedom. This is not your friend, and I can't stand that. We're going to get more. The government gives you more, the less you get, the less of a life you have.
Yeah, but when you become accustomed to that, and it's not just food stamps or welfare or whatever, it's, health care, the subsistence issue.
Health care's not going away. For anybody
more
out there,
infrastructure in the village.
I mean, yeah.
But the health care's not going away. The Indian Health Service was a deal that was reached in Anilka and ANCSA,
sure.
and that is going to be there. That is a guarantee. It doesn't matter who's in office for that. And I know people, look, they're looking for reasons to vote for Democrats. I just want to strip away the reasons that don't exist.
Sure.
It can be us versus them, and I think for a lot of natives, it's us versus them. I would ask you, do you really want tribal sovereignty? Do your women really want tribal sovereignty? Because those are the people who are going to be affected by this. Is it that much us versus them? I think, to me, that's one of the central questions that natives really need to try and answer. Do you want to be American citizens? Do you want to live under the same? Do your women want tribal sovereignty to the point where if they get raped or assaulted, they go to a tribal court rather than Alaska or a federal court in order to get justice? I want to know the answer to that question because I think that's central to what was Heather Kendall Miller and her piece, and it was repeated by Begich, and it's been repeated by Malott. Sullivan is against your tribal sovereignty rights. Fine. You established to me that that's what your women want, that when they're raped, they want to go to a tribal court in order to get justice.
569-1080, 569-1080. That's the number on a Friday afternoon. Glad you're here. Bonnie Cameron's here. Glenn Biegel's here. My name is Dan Fagan. We're glad you found us. We're glad you're part of this broadcast that we bring to you every Monday through Friday from 6 to 9 a.m. 7:29 is the time. Stay with us, folks.
Fagan and Biegel.
Industrials are down 49 points. The Dow, S&P, and NASDAQ all on track to post their first weekly loss in 5 weeks. Shares of Family Dollar trading lower after the company rejected Dollar General's sweetened takeover bid, saying it still has antitrust concerns. Family Dollar agreed to be acquired by its smaller rival, Dollar Tree, in July for $8.5 billion. Now Dollar Tree says it will divest as many stores as needed to win approval from regulators. But El Pollo Loco Holdings, attracting some buyers today. The company's profits soared in the second quarter thanks to higher sales and lower interest expenses. The restaurant chain's shares have more than doubled since its initial public offering price of $15 in July. With the Fox Business Report, I'm Lauren Simonetti.
You've been thinking about moving over to solar power for your home. So are a lot of other people, which is why some power companies are pushing for extra fees to make up the difference. Get caught in the middle or go with a trusted local solar company and actually own it with no down payment, interest, or payments for a whole year. Get all the tax incentives you're entitled to while you still can. We finance. Call for your free in-home assessment. Call 1-800-MY-SOLAR today.
My home, my savings, 1-800-MY-SOLAR.
With KOAN News, I'm Chuck White. High-ranking Alaska National Guard officer Thomas Catgood has resigned after request of the governor. It's after a military report detailed a series of sexual assaults within the state's National Guard program. An email from the governor's re-election campaign mistakenly went out to state email addresses. Even though officials say such addies were supposed to be suppressed from the list, the campaign blamed a vendor mistake. Trial has begun for a 22-year-old Anchorage man accused of shooting and injuring a property manager last year. Kang Her is accused of shooting that person as he was trying to stop them from towing away a car that had just hit a dumpster at the property and caused some damage. The National Park Service is seeking a permanent ban on certain hunting practices on federally controlled land in Alaska. No more shooting grizzlies over bait or using artificial light while hunting black bears. Party poopers. That's your Hot Talk News update.
Cloudy skies with a passing shower for this afternoon, high 54. Rather cloudy tonight, low 48. Partly sunny with a passing shower or two for tomorrow, high 58. Saturday night, low 43. Sunday, plenty of sunshine, high 58. And for Monday, plenty of sun, high 61. Hot Talk, breaking news, and the latest weather, KOAN 95.1 FM and 1080 AM.
Now I have some good news and some bad news. Bad news first. The season is running short for fresh Copper River silver salmon. In fact, the run is most likely through this weekend. So here's your last chance. The good news. New Sagaya and City Market have some new, fresh Copper River silvers at the exceptionally low price of $4.99 a pound for the whole cleaned fish. But this is the last weekend. Fresh, fat Copper River silvers, $4.99 a pound right now, New Sagaya and City Market. Oh, I'll tell you what, Washington State peaches are extraordinary this week, and they're not only ripe and sweet, they're also huge, big, softball-sized peaches, picked fresh and ripe in eastern Washington, sweet and juicy, and just $2.99 a pound from New Sagaya and City Market. Fill up your gunny sack. The butcher shops have excellent free-range fryers on special, just $1.99 a pound. Get them right now. Free-range fryers at New Sagaya and City Market, just $1.99 a pound. Good stuff from New Sagaya Midtown and City Market 13th and I.
Did you know that one of the state's premier medical facilities is located right in the heart of South Anchorage? Thanks to the Alaska Neurology Center, there's no need to leave Alaska anymore when it comes to treating the nervous system. You'll receive the best care at the Alaska Neurology Center for epilepsy, cerebral palsy, brain injuries, Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, Huntington's disease, multiple sclerosis, speech disorders, and they offer pain management as well. And if you're having trouble sleeping at night, the Alaska Neurology Center has the best sleep disorder experts in the state. They also have the most sophisticated MRI imaging technology in Alaska. If you need relief from stress or from migraines, relax in their luxurious spa. At the Alaska Neurology Center, their massage therapists are amazing, and they offer hydrotherapy, infrared sauna, hot and cold therapy, and shiatsu massage. And their medical spa also offers facials and waxing. The Alaska Neurology Center, located on Diamond and Old Seward.
What if buying your next car could actually be enjoyable? At Payless Car Sales, we believe it should be. If you're in the market for your next car, come by and meet our knowledgeable staff and explore our selection of quality vehicles. We offer military discounts, and we give all of our customers Carfax history reports. We can also provide warranties and handle all of your lending needs. Just like driving your car should be enjoyable, so should buying it. Visit us downtown at 919 East 5th Avenue or on our website at paylesssales.com. Payless Car Sales, where Alaskans drive.
Hot Talk KOAN, man. You're on with Fagan and Biegel. Fagan and Biegel. Weekday mornings from 6 to 9 a.m. on the
All right, 7:35 on a Friday. Hope you're smiling out there, because it is Friday. Plus, life's good. Hey, you need a sweet ride? I can hook you up. My buddy Ali Sheik over at Payless Car Sales. Glenn and I can tell you, Ali Sheik, he's the dude. He's the man. Incredible selection of entry-level, luxurious cars. I was surprised. I was over there the other day, and just some beautiful, beautiful cars, trucks, SUVs. There was this one black Escalade. I'm telling you, it's the most beautiful SUV I've ever seen in my life. He had a great price on it. Listen, Ali Sheik understands that you want good value for your car buying dollar. Go see him. He's over on East 5th Avenue, 919 East 5th Avenue. Payless Car Sales. You can trust them. They're very knowledgeable. The staff at Payless Car Sales, they're not going to put you in a lemon. I promise you that. They wouldn't sell it to you if they wouldn't sell it to their own family member. That's their motto. That's why Payless Auto Sales is now one of the fastest growing dealers in the state. It's now the second largest in Anchorage. Payless Car Sales, 919 East 5th Avenue. 7:37 is the time. Our number 569-1080. 569-1080. Give us a call. We'd love to hear from you this morning. It is a talk show after all. We Glenn and Bonnie and I would love to hear your comments. Anything you want to talk about today, phones are open and available, and any topic that is of interest to you, we would love to hear. 569-1080, 569-1080. Let's go to David. David, you're on.
Yeah, hey, I hate to say this, but half right on promising on legislation. Sitting incumbent legislators can't promise how they're going to vote on a specific issue. People running for office that are not incumbents can promise whatever they want.
No, that's not in connection with an endorsement or a financial contribution. Just in general, they cannot say,
you can count on my vote for a chicken in every pot. As a sitting legislature, they cannot say a specific.
So that's the restriction that comes with being incumbent.
Right, and then a non-incumbent, they can promise you anything they want.
For Walker, you think...
Walker's not an incumbent.
He just realized that he went too far on his anti-life position, and that he had to walk that back. And it didn't have anything to do with him taking a position or not taking a position, because that only covers sitting legislators. Is that a misuse of their office, basically, or using their office for personal gain?
Yeah, it's basically, it's promising legislation. You can't promise a vote.
Okay, I will build you a highway if you vote for me.
Exactly.
That's fair.
And then what Walker's doing is going like, hey, I need 40,000 votes.
Yeah.
That's slightly different. That's just, you can promise them anything what you deliver. Steve Cooper's famous for that. Remember, all bets are off. I'm in.
Yeah. What do you think, David, of this reversal of Walker's initial position that he will be pro-life in name only?
I can't believe that as an individual you are or you aren't. I mean, it's there's no in between. You are pro-life or you're not pro-life. Period.
Well, you know what happened is that from the comments I saw, so many people were saying, well, he'll say anything for money. So, he kind of did have to walk it back.
Yeah, well, he's got two. His deal in this is he gets a number of voters if he can tone down his rhetoric, and he gets a lot of money from
AFL-CIO.
Yeah, I mean that was the deal. It's like, you want money, you want votes, you want a chance at winning. This is what you're going to have to promise to say. So he's being managed now, which is what happens to candidates. They get managed Like people who give them advice say, you can say anything you want, I'll wait till November 3rd.
Who's right,
Here's
by
what
the
I'll
way,
say.
in your opinion, David? Who's right between the Democrats who think if I vote for this guy, I will not be I will not be a part of the war on women, and the other people who say Bill Walker's pro-life, I'm going to vote for him, I feel comfortable with that? Who's right?
Well, I think if you're a Republican and you're voting for somebody who's got good, solid core beliefs, Bill Walker has not budged one bit in all the years he's been in public service. I would doubt he's had some kind of epiphany and has changed his mind. I mean, he sees a goal. He's been told what to do to get that goal. He's going to do it.
So the pro-life,
Amanda Coyne's probably correct in that, Bill Walker is still Bill Walker.
Yeah.
And now they have the argument is basically, do you choose the devil you know or the devil you don't know?
Glenn disagrees with me, David, but I'm convinced that a significant portion of the hard left, which I don't know how many that represents, but they're 20% maybe the state hard left now, that they will never vote for a pro-life candidate, and I don't think they're going to get one.
They're not going to vote for Walker.
You agree?
My question was, what happened to Stoddard and Williams?
Who?
I mean, they got second in their races, and the winners pulled out. Are they not on the ballot?
Yeah, why wouldn't the Democrats be allowed to feel?
Well, they were on. Oh, I see what you're saying. They were.
Now, do the Democrats have the right to remove the second place winners from the ballot?
I
guess.
I don't know. It's their closed primary, but I didn't think so.
I think if you come in second, you have no leverage. It's only the winner that has the leverage, and that's Malott, and he agreed to it.
David, did you filed a suit that said you can't be running for another office, right?
Yeah,
about Malott.
About Malott. 'Cause when you do your declaration of candidacy, which he did back in May, you did on there you're not going to be a candidate for any other office in the primary or the general. I mean, that's what it says in the declaration. I am not or will be a candidate for any other office.
Do you think there's any chance that that'll go forward, or have they sort of dealt with this already? Because Walker and Fleener, they're the people who got the votes in order to get put on the ballot together, and now that's all done.
Yeah, you're in that gray area of they didn't define it clearly enough in the law what happens when you have somebody that's a non-party candidate. But, Malott was a party candidate. Well, because Gail and
Gail Fanumiai?
Yeah, Gail, whose name I can't pronounce, and the governor decided to use a 2006 court case on it. They on campaign not able to now go on the office edge. So 10 days to respond to what happened. But how do you decision on something the courts have not told you what to do?
Yeah. Thank you for the call, David. Appreciate it.
Bye.
569-1080. 569-1080. I don't see it, Glenn. I don't see the hard left voting for Walker, especially with Amanda Coyne's column coming out, and it's their focus. That death cult thing is their obsession. That and hating Israel.
She came out with that column, and I'm totally on your side at this point.
Oh, you are?
And yeah, she had to, because things have changed dramatically since yesterday.
Yeah.
Bill Walker said, I am not pro-life. I will have nothing to do with pro-life. I will not advance that cause.
He didn't say I'm not pro-life. He just said I won't act on my pro-life.
But that was the implication.
Yes.
Democrats can feel comfortable in voting for Malott and Walker. That's what he was trying to tell people. Today he's saying, no, that's not true.
Yep.
I cannot say that. That is not the person that I am. I have to be honest. That is not what I went too far in saying that. And so this is because I thought that there's a lot of people who already had signs for Walker, and there are a lot of conservative people out there who have signs for Walker, and I thought that was indicative. So this is really going to cause that rift that you talked about, and you highlighted. You're brilliant for doing so.
7:47 is the time.
You highlighted. You're brilliant for doing so.
7:47 is the time.
Don't just sit there. Give them a call. 569-1080. Join the conversation. KOAN.
Hi, my name is Mike Ferris, president of Alaska Enterprise Solutions. We are the face of Xerox in Alaska. Xerox is a trendsetter, and
When you've got the best.
we are the document management experts, specializing in short-term rentals of copiers and scanners. We have offices in Anchorage and Fairbanks, and we are your Xerox professional agency with an Alaska focus and worldwide support. You can reach us at aesalaska.com or 561-100.
I'm Leslie Moore. I teach 7th grade here in Anchorage. I'm tired of the DC outsiders coming to Alaska to falsely attack Dan Sullivan. Don't believe their dishonest ads. The truth is, Dan Sullivan has stood up for Alaskans and delivered results. I've seen it firsthand. After the financial crisis, my pension took a big hit. It was a difficult time for all Alaska teachers. But Attorney General Dan Sullivan fought back, forcing a Wall Street firm to pay for their malpractice, putting almost $500 million back into the retirement fund for Alaskans.
Dan Sullivan stood up to Wall Street and Washington as our Attorney General and DNR Commissioner, fighting for Alaska.
Dan Sullivan stood up for me and every Alaskan teacher. He's a man of the highest integrity, and he will fight for Alaskans, not for the big money special interests. This is a critical time for our nation and state. We need more people like Dan Sullivan fighting for us in the U.S. Senate.
I'm Dan Sullivan, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Sullivan for U.S. Senate.
I like my breakfast like I like my rock. Soft. So I eat Belvita soft-baked breakfast biscuits, a tasty breakfast option for nutritious morning energy. It's just what I want before writing a flute solo that will softly rock every dentist's office around. Try Belvita soft-baked in oats and chocolate, cinnamon, mixed berry, and banana bread. Belvita, morn and win.
You're on with Fagan and Biegel on Hot Talk KOAN and online at 1080KOAN.com. 9 a.m. The Talk of the Valley, KVNT.
All right, welcome back. 747. Our number 569-1080. 569-1080. This is Glenn Y. The scandal that Biegel, his poor families being murdered against Dan Sullivan is so huge in the Senate race.
Nationwide scandal.
Nationwide coverage.
Yep.
But here's why it's so big. Because the Alaska people now understand that there's nothing Mark Biegel won't try in trying to win this seat. He will throw anything at Sullivan. If he'll exploit a family's tragedy and trying to put it on Dan Sullivan, because Brian, our producer, just said, now Biegel is saying that Sullivan hates old people.
Wants to kill old people now.
Wants to kill old people. There's literally nothing Biegel won't try. And I mean, he's literally throwing everything at Sullivan. I would not be shocked, Bonnie Cameron, if we see a commercial next week. Dan Sullivan is anti-puppy. Dan Sullivan does not like puppies.
And he hates apple pie. And mom.
I mean, this Biegel guy, I'm going to be honest. I thought this last night. I thought, I better not say that on the air, but I'm going to say it on the air. And I was talking to Art Hackney the other day, and he's telling me, and I know Mark Biegel is your friend. And I have had a really good relationship with Mark Biegel, even though I've been very critical of him. But I am so disappointed in him. I had no idea. I honestly didn't, that he would stoop this low. And I understand desperation changes a person. I understand that when you may think somebody is a certain way, but when they go through a desperate time where in their mind they could potentially lose everything that's valuable to them, that they change and their values are corrupt.
I don't know that they change. They're revealed. Most of the time, difficult circumstances reveal your character.
Absolutely.
It reeks of desperation.
He is so desperate right now. And I understand that he's got people on the national level who are probably whispering in his ear and saying, you do this, you do that. And frankly, he hangs with a corrupt bunch. I think the Democratic Party, I think they're corrupt. I believe they're very dishonest. So, but I'm very disappointed in him. I really am. And, I don't know Dan Sullivan that well. Gosh, he sure seems like a good guy to me. And I think his campaign has reflected his character. I've not seen him even come close to the mudslinging and the nastiness.
He would talk to us about it, too, about how it hurt him.
His daughters.
Well, and what I see, I mean, Dan Sullivan has spent time in D.C. He's been there. Mark Begich has now been there for 6 years almost, and it just shows how much it's changed. Mark Begich, because I don't know that he would have done this, back then when he was was running against Ted Stevens. He didn't do any of this dirty stuff.
Well, he was pretty. There were a couple of ads. Remember
there was a guy who they hired out of Florida, and he came up here with a couple $1 million. He did all the mudslinging about Ted Stevens. That's the way that they ran that campaign.
But,
very, very
but do you
smart.
see how it has made him more like
It's revealed
the Harry Reids, the
It's
Nancy Pelosi's?
You talking about the candidate? What was his name?
I don't remember. I
had
bad memory.
What was his name? What was his name? Well, do you remember, Brian? What was that guy's name? He still lives here, by the way.
Oh, does he?
Yes, he does.
He came up from Florida just before, and I think that he was sort of split, and he did 6 months down there and 6 months up here, but he was
didn't
just
really,
a citizen.
I don't think he played that much of a role. We had him on the show once, and he had literally been here, a couple months.
Uh-huh.
And, I'm talking to him about, Senator Maria Downey. What do you think of the job she's done? How about Governor Bob Lester? Do you feel like he was a good governor? This kind of, he's like going along. And the audience is just dying, I'm sure. But so it was pretty embarrassing for him.
But here's the thing: is remember Mystrom?
Yeah,
he ran against Wirch.
Yes,
and he was like a candidate seeking missile. He knew he wasn't going to get elected.
Oh, I don't.
His job was to destroy a decent man, George Wirch.
Oh no.
And that was his only effect. He got 10% of the vote, but he got Begich the office.
No. Well, Dave Dittman told me that when we look back at the history of Alaska, that that Rick Mystrom gave us Obamacare.
Yeah.
Because Mystrom gave Begich the seat. But I know Mick Mystrom. I played golf with him a dozen times.
Okay.
I've eaten lunch with him many times. I've even had breakfast with him a few times. He thought.
Any other meals?
Did you have a snack with him one time?
He thought he was going to win. I promise you. He absolutely thought he was going to win. He was shocked that he didn't do it.
Why did he go so negative?
Well, he did not like Wirch. Just like our friend Adam Trombley. The unions are so powerful.
Oh, they are.
And you want to be
their
like.
Threats are real, by the way. They're
baby.
threats, other than not like the threats of other people.
I like George Wirch.
Hey, I wanted to go through one thing which I think people probably haven't put together, and I think it's true, and I'd like to get you guys' take on it. Begich, to me, has been running very negative commercials, and his people have been, these national organizations have been, and every one of them has sort of turned your stomach and was bad in and of themselves, but they didn't get punished for them. They didn't get highlighted in the national media, and I kind of get the sense that this case about the murderer, the rapist and the murderer who was let out, and that this was the culmination of them getting away with really savaging a decent person over time. This wasn't an isolated incident. This was the result of people doing the wrong thing for a long period of time, politically. Well, that's my view. I mean, do you think that?
Like I said yesterday, the whole point of that commercial, that specific one, was to show how bad of a decision maker Dan Sullivan is. But it really shows the character and the decision-making of Mark Begich. So, there's no issues he can really get to.
So basically what Begich did was the very thing he was accusing Sullivan of, he became guilty of himself.
Absolutely.
I remember the single worst thing I've ever done in my life is I wrote a column for the Alaska Standard that it was entitled, Sarah Palin has a very dark heart. And it was vicious. And I remember I went back and I took it down after a day because I got a lot of complaints about it. And I remember I went back and looked at it 3 months later, and I realized that I was the one with the dark art.
Oh.
And I came across, and I read it horrified. I said, how did that come out of me? And the very thing I was accusing her of, I was more guilty of anything.
Pot, kettle, black.
That's it. But, I was so bitter and so angry, and I had gobs and gobs of unforgiveness in my heart toward her. And so that I was just speaking out of pain there, and I wanted to hurt her, and I wanted to get back at her, and But but that's kind of what you're saying is,
Mm-hmm.
when you throw the accusation out there, sometimes it comes right back at you.
Well, and it was such a poor argument to begin with. Bad decision making. Come on, it was reaching at best, and it showed what a bad decision maker Mark Begich is.
569-1080, 569-1080. That's the number in Anchorage. I'm very optimistic. I believe Sullivan will still win by double digits, especially the way that the desperation's coming out of the Begich camp.
Mm-hmm.
I still am confident, especially with Walker reversing his pro-life position yesterday. I'm still confident Parnell's going to beat Walker, and I think we're going to be in good shape. I do. Republicans are going to win the Senate 2 years from now. We get a new president, and man, watch prosperity ensue.
You think about how much oil is worth now.
Yeah.
And how much gold is worth now.
Yes.
And how much copper is worth
and how much gold and copper we have.
Yeah. And you just look at the state of Alaska, and if you think about our state as just having these huge banks.
Coal.
That all we got to do is just go make these withdrawals from the banks.
It's sitting there on the shelves.
Yeah,
coal.
I want to agree with you about the prosperity and the positivity about it all. But
and agree. Go ahead.
I can't.
Okay.
I can't. And you know why? It's because God is not going to. He's not going to reward the abortion. I mean, we are killing babies.
Yeah.
He's not going to reward us as a nation. Do you know what I mean? It's really been on my mind the last few days. It's bringing me down.
I have a different view. Obviously, abortion is horrific. It's my only issue, really. I mean, there's nothing. If I didn't think we were going to rid this nation of abortion like we rid it of slavery, I'd go set up in Las Vegas and just play poker every day. I wouldn't be here sitting in this chair at 6 a.m. That's what moves me. That's what drives me. Abortion must end. Not only you think about life, how precious life is. When I look at my life and how wonderful it has been, to think that I would have been robbed of that because my mother didn't want to go through the inconvenience of carrying, that's just so tragic. It's tragic for the mother. It's tragic for the family. But how God views abortion, I think I disagree with you. I mean, obviously, he's horrified by it, too. But we'll talk about it. We got a break here. But we'll talk about, because a lot of people think, we continue to have genocide, that God's eventually going to turn his wrath toward us. And that's basically your premise. But I have a different view, and I'll explain it right after this. 569-1080, 569-1080. 7:58 is the time. 569-1080. 7:58 is the time.
What in the name of Blackbeard's ghost is going on here?
Yar. Hello, this is your favorite.
On the hatches and set our course to help raise money for the Blood Bank of Alaska's treasure chest, else we'll be sent to Davy Jones' locker.
Aye, navigate your way to Town Square at 7 p.m. for a group photo with your crew. Make way anytime after 7 p.m. to the participating pubs in downtown Anchorage with your treasure map to win 80,000 air miles and more.
We need help! Jibe ho to AnchorageDowntown.org for more details and discounts on hotel stay, costumes, and parking at Easy Park lots for the night.
Yo ho, me hearties!
We best be seeing your scallywags at the Pirate Pub Crawl on September 20th.
Brought to you by the Anchorage Downtown Pirate Ship, K&H Graphics, the Blood Bank of Alaska, the Odom Corporation, Dooley's Tuxedos and Rentals, and Alaska Integrated Media.
Listen online at 1080KOAN.com. Hot Talk 95.1 FM, 1080 AM, KOAN, Anchorage.
This is a Fox News Alert. I'm Lisa Brady. President Obama moments ago saying the NATO summit sent a strong message to Russia that actions have consequences.
Today, the United States and Europe are finalizing measures to deepen and broaden our sanctions across Russia's financial, energy, and defense sectors.
But he also says the U.S. strongly supports the Ukrainian leaders' efforts to make peace. There have been reports of explosions near one rebel-held city just after a ceasefire was due to take effect. Some pro-Russian rebels saying a truce won't stop their drive for secession. Fox News Radio's Simon Owen is in Cardiff, Wales.
British Prime Minister David Cameron saying leaders have taken decisive action after agreeing to establish a new NATO rapid response force in Eastern Europe to deter Russia from trying to destabilize any NATO members in the region.
There has been a clear message sent out from this conference to Russia that what President Putin is doing is indefensible and wrong.
Meanwhile, the French president says France is ready to join a US-led coalition to fight terror group Islamic State if that mission has UN approval.
The Pentagon just confirming that a terror leader is dead, killed in a recent U.S. airstrike in Somalia. Fox Radio's Rachel Sutherland, live in Washington.
Lisa, al-Shabaab leader Ahmed Ghadane was killed in a U.S. drone strike earlier this week as he left a meeting with members in northern Somalia. Pentagon Press Secretary Rear Admiral John Kirby says Ghadane's death is a major symbolic and operational loss to the largest al-Qaeda affiliate in Africa, and he says the U.S. will continue to address the threat that al-Shabaab and other terrorist groups pose to the American people. Ghadane orchestrated the attack on Westgate Mall in Nairobi, Kenya, almost a year ago that killed more than 60 people. Lisa.
Rachel, not as many jobs created in August, 142,000. Right now the Dow has turned higher, though, up about 8 points. Fox News Radio, fair and balanced.
Gear up for fall and haul in the savings. Choose 0% 60-month financing or big cash off select John Deere tractors. From the 1 family to 150 horsepower utility tractors. Plus, get $1,500 off new 1 family tractors when you buy 2 implements. Offer ends October 31st, 2014, subject to approved credit on John Deere financial installment plan. Some restrictions apply. See your participating dealer for details.
Visit your local John Deere dealer today to take advantage of special savings going on now. Find out more at myjohndeeredealer.com.
Attention homeowners, I'm Jay Farner, president of Quicken Loans. We've told you about HARP in the past. There are so many more of you who could be saving hundreds of dollars every month on your mortgage. It's simple and easy. And for 4 years in a row now, J.D. Power has ranked Quicken Loans highest in the nation in customer satisfaction for primary mortgage origination. To learn more, call 800-QUICKEN.
Visit jdpower.com for award information. Important terms and conditions apply. Calls for cost information. Equal housing lender. Licensed in all 50 states and MLS number.
When you've got the best ingredients, the pizza comes out right. That's just what we're cooking for every appetite. Experience the flavor, call us right away. 24/7, it's a pizza party day.
For the past 40 years, Sicily's Pizza has served Alaskans hot, fresh, quality pizza at a great price. And as a special thanks to all of their loyal customers, Sicily's is having a 20th anniversary sale. Any pizza, any size, for just 20 cents. Now that's an offer that you really can sink your teeth into. Call 333-8000 and order the Sicily's 20th anniversary special. Buy any pizza, any size, and get a second pizza for only 20 cents. Order online at sicilyspizza.com. Offer valid for pickup and carry out only. Best ingredients, best pizza, Sicily's.
Just call Sicily's Pizza, 333-8000.
This is Olympic cross-country skier Holly Brooks. Do you know a girl who loves camping, sports and science, community service, and making new friends? If so, she's ready to be a Girl Scout. Girl Scouts creates leadership opportunities for girls. They develop life skills, habits of teamwork, and a strong sense of self. Girl Scouts gives every girl a chance to discover who she is and what she can be. How do I know? Because I was a Girl Scout. Visit www.girlscoutsalaska.org or call 248-2250.
Why is A&A The Shop Alaska's independent Subaru specialist? How is it they've been voted the best shop in Anchorage not once but 6 times? Well, it's pretty simple. They offer the best warranty in the business. If they work on your Subaru, you're going to get a 3-year, 36,000-mile warranty on both parts and labor. That's unheard of. A&A The Shop deals exclusively with Subarus, and they also offer $35 oil changes. All their technicians are ASE certified. Call A&A The Shop for an appointment. 562-3919 in Anchorage and 696-2096 in Eagle River.
When Malarkey Mark Begich ran for U.S. Senator, he made a lot of claims about his record as Anchorage mayor. Begich knew the truth wouldn't come to light before the election. But now, history is caught up with Malarkey Mark. Under Begich, Anchorage taxes went up 27%. Under Begich, the city budget ballooned, a $142 million increase in spending. Under Begich, the city was saddled with unprecedented 5-year union contracts. Under Begich, a deficit of over $20 million was left for the next mayor to deal with. Begich left Anchorage in serious trouble. Alaska's Energy, America's Values paid for and is responsible for the content of this advertising. It's time to replace Malarkey Mark with U.S. Senator Dan Sullivan. Not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. EnergyandValues.com.
You're on with Fagan and Biegel in the morning.
Are of your team.
You're on with Fagan.
Six minutes past 8 o'clock on a Friday morning as you make your way to work. Congratulations on making it to Friday. Glenn Biegel, he's sitting right over there. There's Bonnie Cameron with her huge, humongous.
They're gone.
I'm getting Fagan. 569-1080. 569-1080. That's the number. So, Bonnie, I was expressing to you my optimism for the country and the state. Some things have to happen. We've got to get control of the Senate. The Republicans do. We've got to get a new president. We've got to get rid of Mark Begich. We've got to re-elect Sean Parnell. But I believe if these things fall into line, that the potential for Alaska, with all the minerals and the oil and gas here and the timber and everything, which, like Glenn said, it's just a big bank vault waiting to have somebody walk in there and make a withdrawal. So I think that good times are ahead. You do not believe that, and the reason is
it might be. For Alaska, we might see some prosperity.
But not the United States.
The future of our nation is really in peril because we are not going to be blessed because of our abortion stance. I mean, it's just, God's not going to bless. And I know there's people out there who are like, God, what does that have to do with anything? It has something to do with everything. We're a Christian nation. We were founded on Christian principles. You cannot ignore that fact. Our prosperity has been due to the fact that there was Christ at the beginning.
I hold a very different view, and it's probably controversial theology, but I'll just express it. I don't believe God is angry. I believe God's in a good mood. I believe God's good all the time, and that he wants to bless us all, and that he's for us, not against us. I don't believe he creates hurricanes. I don't believe he, creates an earthquake to punish us because we've, had lust in our heart or whatever. That's just my view of God.
Well, he says that. Only good and perfect things come from above.
Right. Just like my dad was for me. My dad loved me. He was, even if I'd mess up, he never stopped loving me unless he never wished anything bad to happen to me. Now, there'd be times where he'd let me fail so I would learn from it. But he would never, people say God will give you cancer if you do this. My dad would never want me sick. So people make their own earthly fathers out to be better people than our heavenly Father. So I don't believe God is going to punish.
That's not what I was saying.
I know, but let me finish. I don't believe God's going to punish America because of abortion, or he's going to withhold blessing to America because of abortion.
He's going to let us go and give it over to evil.
No, I don't think he's going to really be a part of it. God has laid out natural laws, like the Ten Commandments and others, that are true. If you walk around with bitterness in your heart, you're gonna have health problems. If you are greedy, you're gonna have financial problems. These are just natural laws that God put into place. And when we as a culture do not value life, our culture begins to erode. Not because of God, not that God wants it to happen. It just is the laws that he set up that are already in place. And so my problem with your scenario is you say God won't bless us because of abortion. The blessing we're going to lose out on are the ones we're robbing ourselves. Just like you're not going to have a good marriage if you're not faithful to your wife. God had nothing to do with that.
I'm not sure I'm saying that God is going to be involved at all.
Well, you just said that he's not going to bless us as long as we have abortion.
I don't think we're going to see prosperity. I think it's going to get worse and worse until
not because of God. Then.
No.
Okay, but you did say.
I'm just not sure that he's going to say, "Oh yeah, you're going to have good times ahead." And
so he will withhold blessing. Then.
No, I just think he's giving us over to evil.
Giving us over. What does that mean?
He's let it go. He's let us go. I think
he doesn't love us
I think that the beginning of the nation started out good because we were a Christian nation and there was not this murder, this genocide.
So you're saying he doesn't care about us anymore?
No, I know as individuals he does, but as a nation he's going to say, you know what, if you're going to keep turning away from me and keep committing this atrocity of abortion, then, go ahead. But you're not. You're just going to go down from here. It's not going to.
Yes, but it's not because of him. He's not in there.
It's because he's not going to involve himself in it.
But no, he never leaves us or forsakes us. He never gives up on us. No parent would ever give up on their child.
Individually, but as a nation,
no,
absolutely.
No, I disagree. I don't think God ever gives up on any nation. Because a nation.
He has given up.
Give me an example.
Well, when Israel was turning their backs to him, he let them go. They fell.
Well, no, that what they did brought calamity upon themselves.
Right.
But it wasn't him. It was them. That's my
point.
Okay, but you keep saying he'll let us go. There's no him, and he's not involved in it. We make this. So that's the beauty. We could, God had two choices. He could have made us all puppets, and there'd be no evil in the world, and we'd have no free will. But he gave us free will. But the thing that comes with free will is consequences.
Mm-hmm.
So when we make bad decisions, collectively or individually, consequences that are negative ensue.
Mm-hmm.
So
we're saying the same thing.
I don't think we're. Your language is he'll let us go. We're the ones. If I cheat on my wife, I can't blame God for not saving my marriage.
That's an individual. I'm talking collectively as a nation. We are.
It's the same principle.
We have turned to
Glenn,
evil.
What do you think? Who's wrong here? Or are we saying the same thing?
Well, you may be saying the same thing. I don't know. I've never had a conversation like this or in this, and I think this is probably a big difference between the Catholic faith and other faiths. Look, we are not going to know the time or the place. We're all saved individually. We don't get saved as a group. We don't have universal salvation. Things that you do don't reflect on my soul. We don't rise as a family. Every person has to justify themselves, and nobody can, so it's all grace. But the problems, where I come down and where I'm trying to think of is we were not a perfect nation when we went to war in World War II.
We've never been a perfect nation.
We've never been a perfect nation.
Even our founding fathers.
People.
No.
Even our founding fathers. Now, I guess I just reject out of hand the idea that imperfect people cannot do great things.
And the problem with your God's going to let us go mentality is it causes hopelessness. If I don't think God's for America, why try to save America? If God's given up on us, look, there are plenty of great people in this nation, many of them who believe in God and serve him, many of them don't, but they're still really good people. And to say that this is over and, because of abortion, what that's doing is focusing on the negative and not the positive. The positive is we're still the greatest country in the history of mankind. We still, to this day, do more for the planet in the way of liberating the oppressed, helping the poor. Today,
Well, I said the other day we're exceptional. I do believe we are an exceptional nation based on our history and how we
Bonnie,
were founded.
You say God will let us go if we don't fix abortion. You don't think we're going to eventually get rid of abortion in this country?
I would pray we do.
But you don't believe it.
As long as we have politicians who are not willing to stand up for it.
And as long as people like you don't believe abortion will be gone, then it won't be gone. 8:14. Six 8:14.
You're on with Fagan and Biegel. Give them a call, 569-1080, KOAN.
Now I have some good news and some bad news. Bad news first. The season is running short for fresh Copper River silver salmon. In fact, the run is most likely through this weekend. So here's your last chance. The good news, New Sagai and City Market have some new, fresh Copper River silvers at the exceptionally low price of $4.99 a pound for the whole cleaned fish. But this is the last weekend. Fresh, fat Copper River silvers, $4.99 a pound right now, New Sagai and City Market. Oh, I'll tell you what, Washington State peaches are extraordinary this week, and they're not only ripe and sweet, they're also huge, big, softball-sized peaches picked fresh and ripe in eastern Washington, sweet and juicy, and just $2.99 a pound from New Sagai and City Market. Fill up your gunny sack. The butcher shops have excellent free-range fryers on special, just $1.99 a pound. Get them right now. Free-range fryers at New Sagai and City Market, just $1.99 a pound. Good stuff from New Sagai in Midtown and City Market 13th and I.
Hi, this is Jonathan Martin with Harrington & Company. I am looking for a qualified buyer with a 90% letter from his lender. I have a 3-bedroom, bath and a half, single-car garage with carport on a large single-family lot in East Anchorage. It is priced in the mid-200,000s. It needs only a little bit of TLC. Please call me, Jonathan Martin at Harrington & Company, 244-0821. That's Jonathan Martin at Harrington & Company, 244-0821.
Do you own your own business? Are you thinking about starting one? Are you an employee who wants to get the job done the right way and move up the corporate ladder? Well, this is the show for you. Innovation, technology, and professional business advice you can use. Listen to Getting Down to Business with David Weatherholt on Hot Talk KOAN 95.5 FM and 1080 AM every Saturday from 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. Your small business resource with advice you can use.
Hot Talk KOAN, man. You're on with Fagan and Biegel. 1080KOAN.com. Mornings from 6 to 9 a.m. on the Talk of the Valley, KVNT.
Happy Friday to you. 8:17. Bonnie Cameron right over there. Glenn Biegel right over there. I understand, Bonnie, what you're saying, and it's kind of a fine line. Glenn, I know you have some thoughts on this, but when things are bad, you don't want to bury your head in the sand, right?
Right.
And that's a truism, right? But I've always found that in life you basically have one of two choices. You can focus on the positive, you can focus on the negative. And if you're obsessed with the negative, it will debilitate you, it will stagnate you, you won't be motivated, the life will be sucked out of you, and you will be a bastion of hopelessness. If you focus on the positive and the things that are being done right, and you meditate on those and you think about those and the potential that's out there, then I think hope begins to rise in your heart. And when hope rises in your heart, you begin to actually get up and move in that direction. So Bonnie's kind of focused on the abortion thing. She says God is going to let us be turned over to evil, and she's not very optimistic for the nation. I agree. It absolutely breaks my heart, the genocide that we're having in this nation, in this globe. How do you balance that, Glenn? How do you not ignore the problem, but then don't let it overcome you, where that you literally lose hope for the future of America.
Especially when you're as positive a person as I am.
I disagree with that.
A guy wrote me a text yesterday, and he said he came home. It was late at night, and he has, I think, a garbage can sort of right outside the back, and next to the garbage can was one of those child two wheels, like a trailer, you know, where you haul a child along.
Okay, walker.
Kind of, yeah, like a walker, something like that. Anyway, so he was driving by and he noticed the guy had, you know, like a blue walker that looked a lot like his. He got home, found out the guy had taken it.
Wow.
And so he confronts the guy, and this was the deal. The guy had a dog, and he said, "Yeah, my dog really needed it," you know, because he's asking him, he said, "Where, you know, what are you doing with that walker?" He said, "Well, my dog really needed it. You know, it's you know, I take care of him and all that kind of stuff." Notice that the guy was eating dog food with his dog.
He went into his house and the guy was sitting there eating dog food.
No, as he's walking, it's like a homeless guy had taken this walker, taking care of his dog. So there were two ways this could have gone. Right? He could have confronted the guy. "What are you doing stealing my stuff? Give me my stuff back right now." He didn't. He found out the guy's story, found out that he was eating dog food. So he goes into his house, gets 3 bags of groceries, gives them to him. It's just one person at a time. It's not everybody. It's not everything. So the idea that we have to worry about how it all turns out, stop doing that. You go walk a picket line, you know, at the clinic. You go talk to somebody who needs something. That's it.
Okay, so
that by the way,
that is so true.
That is hope in its purest form. That, what Glenn just said, causes the heart of people to be emboldened and it causes action. Well, I've never heard of anything that made me more optimistic than what he just said. And that's it. I mean, never give up hope.
But do you see my point in that when you go and you read the comments under some of these stories and some of the people you've been dealing with on the daily, you know, the Dispatch News website, they're so full of hate for people who are pro-life that I didn't realize how many people there were who were pro-choice, and it's gotten me down because I've been paying attention more. You know, I've always been involved, but it's been in my world. So now that I'm in this world and I'm reading the comments, it's depressing.
Bonnie, this is so important for people to hear. You know, when you think back to how the Christians were treated just after Christ was here, they were killed by the thousands just for professing their faith.
Well, look at what's happening now.
Right? So they were put to death. If you came out and said, "I'm a Christian," you got fed to lions. You think about the hopelessness that they went through. But that's not the worst of it. Think about Russia, right? They went and killed millions, I think 70 million people. 70 million. Like a third of the country was sent to death camps in Russia. Here we are. We've got all the ability to speak. We can go out and preach on the corner. We can go out and raise money. We can dedicate our whole lives to changing whatever we want. And somebody comes up and says, "I don't like you." And the result of that is you quit. We have every opportunity. We are called to action. We're called to greatness. The saints died for their faith. People have died for their faith. We have the country the greatest opportunity ever. And the idea that, well, we're just not worth it. You know, we can't make it. That's just not true. Every action we take, every day we have, is always an opportunity, even if it's just one person.
So I have to tell this now. At Christmas time, I was at an electronics store, and I got to talking with one of the salespeople there, and it was a man, and he just has had a horrible day because his girlfriend had found out she was pregnant a few weeks before, and she was going to go get an abortion. And he was just heartbroken, and he just started, pouring his heart out to me. And I've never done this before, but I said, can I pray with you, and we prayed and we talked a little bit more about this whole situation. I felt so bad for him because he had no say in the fact. She was just a couple days past the legality in the state of Alaska, so she was going to even fly to Seattle to try to get an abortion. And so we prayed together and talked about it, and I went back a couple weeks later, and she had not gone and done it. They'd gotten back together, and the prayers were answered. It was a good outcome. And so I see your point in that it's one person at a time. That was one life saved. I'm sure they've had their baby by now. I've checked up on them a couple more times. And
I believe the test of a man or a woman is the real grit. What's at the core of a person. You can tell their strength by the size of the problem it takes to discourage them. By the size of the problem it takes for them to give up hope. And, when Glenn's so eloquent, I think about Paul imprisoned in chains, singing praises to God. He's in chains.
My fear is that we've got to elect people who are going to stand up and not be afraid of the political blowback. And so it's one person at a time, but I see our freedoms going away.
You should talk about your hope.
Yes.
Not your fear.
I don't want to get people down. I'm not trying to do that.
We can live in fear. I mean, there's just two ways to live.
I want people to wake up.
You live in hope.
I can't tell you how many times I've heard you say on this broadcast, I'm so sick of it. That's your number one phrase. Did you know that?
I want people to become as angered about it as I am and want to get involved.
By having them focus on the negative.
I don't know.
This is where talk radio has been for such a long period of time. We've been talking about the end of the world. We've been talking about the end of the dollar. We've been talking about the end of the economy. Well, frankly, folks, the end hasn't come, but better days are ahead of us. But we have to lead. We have to lead people to that. We have to find leaders to do that. I agree with you, Dan. You cannot lead from fear. You have to lead, at least on conservative side. Now, on the left, they do lead from fear. Yeah. When Biegel played that commercial about Sullivan, his goal was not to say, I want to inspire you. His goal and his entire approach was, I want you to be so fearful that you don't know what to do, and what you end up doing is acting out of hate and spite.
And let me just say to the people out there who have said in their heart, I am not going to vote for Dan Sullivan because I want the country to deteriorate at a quicker pace so that we'll hit a reset button quicker. You have rendered yourself useless to mankind because you have given up.
What more would the devil want you to do? Let me just ask you that question. If the devil was there on your side and saying, it's not worth it. You don't want to participate in this. Some good might come from the other guy, but honestly, is that going to be enough? What more would the devil say?
And there are quite a few people who I'm still on Joe Miller sites, after I might not be now.
Not quite a few. There is a few, not quite a few.
Well,
I've seen them. They are dwindling vastly in number because Joe Miller knows this.
Yes.
And he will instruct them, and he will help them understand this country is worth saving. We still have time. We need good leaders. Keep fighting. Keep fighting. The nation's worth it. Our future is there.
And he's come out and said that. It's more important to get rid of Biegel than worry about all this.
They're acting out of pride. The people who are saying I will not participate, they're saying, well, look, I invested some of my person into my being into this Joe Miller, and I will not give that up. I will not be made a fool.
Mm-hmm.
I will not say that I was wrong. And that's prideful for them. It's never been that way. Joe Miller may have been the greatest candidate ever, but we have not elected throughout the history of this country the greatest candidates ever. We've elected average, regular men, some better than others.
The Bible talks about David as a man after God's own heart. It's the greatest compliment you can give to a mankind. David, who murdered the husband of the wife that he slept with,
yeah,
is a man after God's own heart. David was the greatest king of Israel. bar none. You read the Old Testament, no one saw more prosperity as king than David. He murdered somebody. I'm not condoning murder, but if you're looking for perfection, you know.
I hear the libertarian candidate is Christ, so if you want to vote for Christ, you need to vote libertarian.
569-1080, 569-1080, 829 is the time.
You need to vote libertarian.
569-1080, 569-1080, 829 is the time.
On Hot Talk KOAN and online at 10. Biegel on Hot Talk KOAN and online Biegel. Weekdays 6 to 9 a.m. The Talk of the Valley. KVN.
All right, 8:35. Fagan, Biegel, and Bonnie on a Friday. Hey, why don't you swing over to our good friend Ali Sheik, Payless Auto Sales this weekend. Check out some of the new vehicles he has in stock. He was just at auction the other day and picked up some really nice rides. He's got a great selection, beautiful SUVs, cars, trucks, financing available. Payless Car Sales. Beautiful lot. Beautiful lot. Go check him out, Ali Sheik. He's over on 5th Avenue, 919 East 5th Avenue. Real customer service. Entry-level luxury used car dealership. They offer superior, friendly atmosphere, superior customer service, friendly atmosphere, great vehicles. Ali Sheik is a good man. He'll hook you up. He'll take care of you. Stop by his lot this weekend. Payless Car Sales. 569-1080 is our number. 569-1080. You know, I think we've really hit on a big point, and it applies to everything. It applies to politics. It applies to family life, and it's what you focus on in life. You focus on the negative and let that determine your worldview, or do you focus on the positive and what you can do to to combat all the problems in the world? And it's natural, I think. I grew up in New Orleans, man. New Orleans is the most negative city in the planet. Has
it changed a bit? No,
it was way before Katrina.
Okay.
The Saints, they were so bad for so long. and they had a guy there, a sports guy named Buddy Delaberto, who my dad knew. He was, I wouldn't say they're friends, but he knew him. And Buddy used to have this sports show, and they would, for 3 hours a day, talk bad about the Saints. And people would call him, and it would be such a whine and complaint fest.
Mm-hmm. Why did they run this play?
He had like
this
80...
guy's so bad, he fumbles again.
Yeah.
All that kind of stuff.
Yeah. The coach doesn't know what he's doing. The quarterback sucks. Where's the defense? And it was 3 hours of this every day, and it was like an 80 share.
They had lots to talk about because the Saints were awful.
But it was such a complaint fest.
Mm-hmm.
And really, Glenn, you said earlier, I think you said during the break, talk radio has kind of become that.
Yeah.
Well, all we do is complain. All we do is focus on the negative. All we do is talk about the problems. And it begins to affect you. I had a guy tell me the other day, he didn't know I was doing my show again, and he said, what are you doing? I said, we'll get the show going. He said, oh, man. I said, I'll have to listen. He said, I'll be honest with you, I haven't listened to talk radio in 2 years. I said, really? Why? He says, it just got me too depressed.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. I've been there. I've had to switch over to, like, Caleb, listening to Christian music at times because it gets you down.
It doesn't have to be that way.
Well,
you know what I think
I'm part of the problem.
The biggest key to life is, though, about how to keep yourself positive.
What?
Is there are areas of life and levels of life where you have the most power. And there are levels of life and of society where you have no power whatsoever. And we often will, because it's titillating, because it consumes our time or whatever, we will concentrate on areas of life and society we have no power whatsoever.
For example?
Like, for instance, I don't know, whether or not we can get Pebble Mine.
Okay.
I have very little power. I could talk about it. I could even concentrate 3 hours of a show on it every single day. Now, where I have power is in my family, in my education, in my job.
In your personal choices.
Exactly.
Yeah.
People right next to me. I have plenty of power. And so
your circle of influence.
Yeah. And so if you concentrate your life and your energy in the areas where you have the most power,
so good,
your life will change.
So good. And now here's another thing, because basically what you're talking about is your circle of influence.
Yeah.
And my belief is that circle of influence, if you use your power within it to offer hope, your circle of influence will explode in size. He who offers the most hope has the most influence, because we are living in a culture that is reeking with negativity and hopelessness and despair. And if you can somehow look at the positive and focus on the positive and focus on solutions, not bury your head in the sand, not ignoring the genocide that is the abortion crisis, but you focus on, like you did, Glenn, so eloquently, the 1% at a time thing. And Bonnie, your example of the guy you met who his girlfriend was going to have an abortion. You begin to offer hope to people, they're going to want to be around you. They're going to want to listen to you. They want more, because hope is not in great supply in our culture. Certainly not from the mainstream media. Certainly not from talk radio. And frankly, just anywhere.
You know what I found is people who you can choose which area, which level of our society you operate in. And back in 1993, just had a real young family, and I made a decision because I had some very inspirational people in my life that I wanted to rise up. I wanted to operate at a different level. So I started doing things which caused that to happen. I got involved. I became a board member of Alaska Right to Life. Then I got on the Central Committee of the Republican Party. I ran for office of the Republican Party. I helped start homeschool school here. I got involved in politics for Cuddy and then for Palin and for so I got involved. I decided, this is going okay. I like this. I like, the sphere of influence that I have. But where people will make a mistake is they think that complaining about a different level of life that they're not really involved in, that is equivalent to doing something about it. Those two things are not related at all. If you want to influence more people, then get a different job. Rise up, become somebody who's involved in that aspect, that level of life. And as I found out, because I wasn't very old at the time, I was 25. I was 25 at the time when I decided that I was going to get involved, is that you can reach pretty high, and people are really looking for people who have energy and they have a drive and a desire to see change and make things different. And people will give you the opportunities. You earn them, you make friends, but people are always making this invalid distinction. They say, well, I am trying to fix the problem with our economy. I complain about it every day. No, that isn't complaining, but get involved with
complaining about your wife. I'm trying to fix my marriage. I bellyache about my wife.
Yeah, to you. To somebody else. But get involved in the Chamber of Commerce. Go out and find out what our business school is actually trying to turn out. Maybe improve that. There's a million ways to actually literally help. Most people, it's so much easier. You get on your computer, bellyache, complain, highlight the problems.
Yes.
Did you fix anything? Yeah. No, you did not fix a thing. Could you? You bet you can. This is America.
So much power. We're so powerful here in this country. 569-1080, 569-1080. That's the number if you'd like to reach the broadcast in the waiting hours of this Friday afternoon, the 5th day of the month of September. How about it? We made it to Friday. Congratulations, both of you. This is we got a new studio. They refurbished our studio, and they've got Bonnie to my extreme left, right, and Glenn to my extreme left, and my neck is beginning to hurt.
I was wondering about that.
I can't see both of you in one, I don't even have you in my there. You're both in my peripheral vision.
I can change your glasses so that they actually focus on two different areas of the room at the same time.
Can you do that?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
I think that it would end up,
I think we need to put you guys closer together.
I would agree.
Because
I don't know about
you don't want to. We've talked about Bonnie's odor problem. She gets upset when we do.
Oh,
I'm just kidding. She doesn't have that bad.
Hey, do you go up against Mark Colavecchio often on blogs and stuff?
Occasionally he'll. Yeah.
He and I are mixing it up. I'll bring it up.
We'll talk about that next. 8:44. Dan Fagan, Glenn Biegel, Bonnie Cameron.
Mixing it up. I'll bring it up.
We'll talk about that next. 8:44. Dan Fagan, Glenn Biegel, Bonnie Cameron.
Don't just sit there. Give them a... You're up.
off this weekend. And all the remaining perennials are 50% off as well. You buy them now, you plant them now, and they will get more beautiful every year. Here's another tip. Bell's has some great garden furniture on sale, 30% off. Take a look. You'll get some excellent ideas for your garden. You know, your hanging baskets were so spectacular this year, it makes sense to take them down now and winter them over in Bell's greenhouse. However, space is limited. Bell's fills up early, so bring your baskets in right away. In Bell's wonderful Specking Road gift shop, fabulous Polish pottery is a full 25% off. And October is the month for the big Zappies Silver Restoration Clinic at Bell's. Call 345-4476 for the exact days to make your appointment with the experts from Zappies. It's all happening at Bell's Nursery and Gifts on Specking Road and Bell's Nursery on Cranberry Road.
This is Dr. Ellenberg. Are you tired of taking medications? Do your medications create more side effects than solutions? Do you want more than 15 minutes with your doctor? If you answer yes to those questions, you should consider calling the Ellenberg Center for Natural Medicine. At our center, we take the time to listen and focus on finding the cause of your health problems. Whether you have a cold, high blood pressure, diabetes, or cancer, we can help. Call the Ellenberg Center for Natural Medicine at 563-2366 or visit us online at drellenberg.com. We can help.
This is Olympic cross-country skier Holly Brooks. Are you an adult who wants to help today's girls become tomorrow's leaders? Girl Scouts of Alaska is looking for volunteers. Lead a Girl Scout troop, coach a Lego robotics team, or present at a workshop. Parents, grandparents, college students, and retirees can all be Girl Scout volunteers. All you need is a willingness to help make tomorrow's leaders from today's girls. Girls like me, because I was a Girl Scout. Visit www.girlscoutsalaska.org or call 248-2250.
You're on with Fagan and Biegel in the morning. Give him a call, 569-1080. Biegel in the morning on the Talk of the Valley, K.
Welcome back. Dan Fagan, Glenn Biegel, Bonnie Cameron. You're on KOAN and KVNT. 569-1080. If you want to get in a phone call before the end of the week, now's the time. 569-1080. So you're dueling Glenn with Mark Colavecchio, Bob and Mark fame. This is on the ADN website?
Yeah, it's about where the governor has gotten the results of an independent investigation into the Alaska National Guard.
Okay.
And the results of the independent investigation have shown that the Alaska National Guard has an unbelievable problem. And it has been a problem that has been around for a while. And so people are pretty loose, fast and loose with the truth. And the question which you brought up was, well, what did Parnell know and when did he know it?
Right.
What did Sullivan know? When did he know it? Those are good things. So Colavecchio says that Parnell's response to the situation was 4 years too late.
Okay.
He's commander at the Guard. Katkus reported to him directly, this is disgusting, and my response back to him was, Mark Colavecchio, and you know this how? What information did the governor have 4 years ago?
Right.
And then he comes back, he says he said he knew about it in his comments yesterday. He also said he left it to Katkus and assumed he was taking care of it.
Okay.
And so I come back and said, so this is what you're saying, Mark Colavecchio. Parnell said he had incontrovertible evidence that Katkus was allowing rapes on the bases, and he still allowed him to run the investigation, question mark.
Right.
No response. Mark, question mark. Can you tell us what he said he knew?
Yes.
People are very, politics oftentimes will blind people as to what you should or shouldn't say.
Right.
Many people have basically come out and said that Parnell is essentially behind these rapes, that he let them go on. Okay, that is a scurrilous accusation unless you've got pretty doggone good proof.
Right.
And what I'm doing here is Mark Colavecchio has essentially said, hey, look, he knew about this stuff for 4 years. He allowed this guy to continue doing them. He's responsible, and I'm calling him on the carpet. I want to know what he knew and when he knew it. Maybe Mark has more information.
He's almost doing a Begich.
He is doing a Begich, and that's really where these elections are going to go.
Yeah, he would have so much more credibility if he would stick to what we know, because there could be some validity to the fact that Parnell did not act appropriately here, did not do enough, and did not intervene in time. But if you stick to what you know, and you're going to be a lot more credible. But you're right, this idea that he knew and he was okay with rape, nobody believes that genuinely, right?
No, I wouldn't think so. And to say that he put Katkus in charge of it when the reports are about, when the problems are essentially stem from Katkus, which is what we know now.
Yeah.
That's where this problem really came from, is I think Parnell trusted Katkus, left him sort of in charge. The reports kept coming, and it turns out that Katkus has a real problem, and that Katkus may have been much more involved in these things. And that was the report that I got when I got personally, informed of this about a year and a half ago.
Well, what the governor should do, and I don't know that he's talked to the media about this, has he? He was not interviewed in the story there, right?
I don't know. I saw he gave a presentation on it about what he was doing, but I don't know that there was a whole lot of media there. There was only one person in the whole picture.
Oh, he gave a presentation?
Yeah, but I don't.
Like a press conference.
Press conference. That's the difference. So if he had a press conference and he took questions from the media,
I don't know that that's what it was.
I don't think that's what it was. He gave
he
a
was
presentation.
standing up on a podium.
So that's still good. He needs to have a press conference and address the media on this.
I agree. He'll have to, won't he?
Yes.
There's no doubt about it.
Yes.
He needs to know exactly. He needs to let people know, this is what I knew. This is when I knew it. This is when I acted.
Right.
This is why I acted.
Yeah.
These are the people who informed me or whatever.
Right. And we will contact the governor's office and make sure that either he or someone from his office comes on the show next week and answers these questions. And if they don't, that's a pretty big deal.
Yeah,
You cannot not answer questions about this.
If Colavecchio is right, and the governor knew 4 years ago
Yeah.
that Katkus had a problem, and Katkus and his office were largely involved in this cover-up, then that's very damaging.
Yeah,
that's devastating. So we're going to have to find out what.
And
who knew what.
You spoke to a couple of the investigators.
Yeah.
A couple of years ago, 18 months ago. And we need to get them on the show next week too, if they'll come on.
Yeah, I'll try and remember who they were. I might have to drive out to their house because I can remember that better than what their names were.
Yeah.
Isn't that sad? The way our memories work.
Yeah. Well, it's I would be heartbroken if Governor Parnell does not get reelected, because I believe there's so much at stake in our economy. If we reignite the war on oil, it's just going to have devastating effects.
Well, and I do worry about what Walker has promised, in this closed-door session that they had in order to get this going.
Promised to the Democrats?
Yes. People have got to know that something went on to get that going.
It's so funny how the media, they're this is such a bold, glorious move. We're putting aside partisanship, and we're putting Alaska first. You're getting into bed with a group that has a very different philosophy than you. That's not admirable.
Right.
It's not. Look, the Democrats, what they believe and what they promote will devastate our economy. To say that you're putting Alaska first because you're compromising with someone who has completely different principles than you shows your principles don't matter much to you.
How many conservatives are going to vote for the AFL-CIO ticket? That's the real question. And how many Democrats are going to vote the pro-life ticket?
You said that's it, and you said it earlier during the break. This came about because Vince Beltran until you guys get together on a ticket, and then we'll give it to you. So Bill Walker says, "Oh, I get a ton of cash. All right, I'll compromise my values and my principles and get into bed with a guy who allegedly is completely different philosophy than I do."
Yeah. And he waved the magic cash wand, and all of a sudden there was a new candidacy.
And that Hollis French stepped down as quickly as he did.
Yeah.
You don't run a whole campaign and be so, into it, and then, okay, I'll just give that up to somebody else.
I cannot report this as fact, and it was speculation by someone, but someone who you would respect. They thought that there was probably a deal with French that he would become DNR commissioner.
Mm-hmm.
Or, a state attorney general or something of that magnitude.
Yes.
Can you imagine Hollis French as DNR commissioner?
Devastating.
Oh.
What's hilarious? One of the articles reporting it said that, and he was promised nothing in return.
Yeah. Right. Yeah,
that we were allowed to say. No, with his lawyer background, I would think, he would be more.
Well, he also
General.
works for the unions, though, too. This really is the AFL-CIO ticket. So maybe that's really all French wanted. Maybe he just said, I know I can't win. I know Democrats aren't going to win this election, but if a Democrat is on the ticket, that will maybe open up more opportunity later. If it helps Begich to win, he may have gotten some promises from Begich.
Now, I just got this. There was a press conference yesterday with the governor, with reporters in person and on teleconference, and questions were taken. It's also was live streamed and is available on the governor's website. So he has answered questions about it. And look, one thing we know, if there was a smoking gun, it would be all over the Alaska Dispatch News, right? We know they're all about Walker and Malott. So that makes me think if the governor actually took questions to the media and they couldn't uncover anything in that press conference, he's got nothing to worry about.
Yeah. Well, look, I think he was slow to act. He was angered at how slow this investigation, how long it ran, and how many people do not feel like they're getting justice. So there's still a lot to be done. This is by far not over. There will be arrests. People will go to jail, and I'm very interested in how far this goes into the APD. That's what I want to know. Apparently, Katkas came from the APD a long time ago, but they did not do proper investigations into these rape allegations. They did not, and they are partially on the hook for this. So
because APD has jurisdiction.
APD has jurisdiction, and they falsely, invalidly granted that, at the edge of the base door, we will stop our investigation, essentially.
Well, can you blame them with all the flack that police departments get? And there's so many layers of responsibility there with the base, and you wonder what they're supposed to do and then what APD is supposed to do. Look at the Department of Justice yesterday is looking into Ferguson, Missouri, and
I know. Not Benghazi, not the IRS scandal, not
anything but
the guns over the border, but some thug gets shot.
And this is the vice that Parnell is caught in, is we want justice to be swift and sure, and we don't want people to just take innuendo. So, but he's caught between that. But now that we know that there was a real there, and it's apparently been there for 4 years, is what Mark Colavecchio says, and that the governor knew something 4 years ago. I guess the real question is, what did he know?
This is a good show today. I would listen to this show. If I were a talk radio listener.
I actually do listen to this show.
Yeah, it's a good show. Good. We're having a blast. You guys having fun doing this?
Oh, yeah.
I wish we could do it around noon.
I'm
Wouldn't you
addicted.
prefer that, Brian? We could actually stroll in here around noon instead of 6 a.m.?
I don't know. It gets it out of the way.
If we moved to New York City, then the show would be on from what, like 10 to 1, so we could sleep in and then.
That's a good idea.
I go home and get a lot done though, so this is good.
Well, good for you. Well, all right, we're gonna do it Monday again. You guys want to come back? Or?
Good for you. It never means good for you.
Do it.
I'm learning that with
him. It's a very negative way to put things.
You guys want to do another week next week?
Let's do it. Sure, why not?
All right, we'll be back Monday. Have a great weekend, folks. Next week?
Let's do it. Sure, why not?
All right, we'll be back Monday. Have a great weekend, folks.
And that's a wrap.